Hello. Hi. Hello, hello, hello. All alerts have been gone through. We did it. Hello, welcome back. Hi, we're live. Hello. Oh, there we go. Where did that appear? How's it going, Eric? Hello. All alerts are up. All alerts are up. Welcome to another spooky stream. I had one of these in a minute. Low key. What does it say? Oh my. Low key want to see Aztec and Mayan game like it, or like God of War. Yeah, when I booted up the game in release time, one of the conversations we had, because around that period of time, a couple weeks or months later, South of Midnight came out. Which, if you haven't played that game, I actually highly recommend it. It's not the most difficult game to play, but it's the fact, artistically, I think it cooked. Because it showcases Southern Black folklore from New Orleans. It's dope. Exactly. Okay, so you get it. We had a deep conversation about how, like, folklore in general is a beautiful tale to even begin as a concept base for video games, in my honest opinion. And although I love the concept of God of War, I also feel like we most often see European and European-centric storylines be used on a more mainstream kind of way. And for a while, we hadn't seen stories from folklore, mythology in general, from other cultures kind of be showcased. So having like Wukong step up, having South of Midnight be a video game that in my opinion is still a pretty goated game, even though people want to just call it woke. I thought it was kind of needed in the time. And so one of my biggest life like goals, I guess you could say, is live long enough where I can finally see like a Peruvian really bring through like folk tales and mythology from Peru, and it not be a fuck ass horror game. That's my issue, because somebody gave me, I think it was Biggest, showed me that there is like Incan and Aztec like video games, but it's like tied to the horror genre, which I get, but like at the same time I'm like, no, I want like a hero story. I want somebody to understand what Inti means, and Inti meaning God. The only people that I've seen kind of like use it as a appreciation of the culture has been in essence Overwatch, because of Iyari, which is a post that is going to be going live next week. But if we want to, if you guys have following any of the posts that I've gone, I did a Peru in Games and Media kind of video post, which is a series that I'm actually trying to commit to and do some research on, and something that I'm more excited about. The first one we talked about in the first episode was Azucena, which is from Tekken 8. She's a Peruvian character in the first one from the series. And it's kind of like a nod of appreciation to the Peruvian culture. They didn't do bad. I liked it. I can sense it. It's nostalgic, and I can see as a Peruvian that plays the Tekken series, not saying that that's what I do, but in the comment sections, especially on Instagram, see a Peruvian tell me, no, I cried when she was released. That shows how important it is, and how representation is so important sometimes, and people will never understand that, but I get it. But the reason why I'm starting this series is because I have met developers who are trying to right now make a video game series specifically in the Peruvian folklore, Incan, and like mythology aspect, tying all of it together. They're currently doing it right now. They're trying to get they have already started developing. They are currently showcasing that stuff. They just obviously don't have the funds to do what big studios can, but they're trying to put their word out there. And so they kind of inspired why I'm trying to do the whole Peru in Games and Media series, because we talk a lot about a lot of cultures, I think, in general, and there's I'm not saying that we don't get talked about, but I think as a Peruvian, I just grew up, especially a Peruvian in Miami, I just grew up like seeing Cuban culture, which I love, and Puerto Rican culture, which I love, and its history, and even Mexican culture, which I love, and its history because of all the friends that I've had and how prominent their communities are. But then like still somehow realize how like there's not a lot of representation for Peru out there. And if there is, it's not as much as I thought. But when there is, it's like really particularly thought out. Obviously excuse the fact that for some reason people have, if there is a video game out there that's solely about the concepts of Peru in its whole and it's not about a dedicated character, for some reason people make it about horror, and I don't want that. I wouldn't even want to play an Aztec horror game. Not saying that that shouldn't be played. I'm sure it's fun. I'm just saying, if God of War can exist and we're using the hero stories from God of War through Greek mythology, why can't we use mythology from other cultures and use the hero stories itself of those other cultures to create video games from that? So, like, why does it have to be a horror game? Why can't we tell the stories from the hero perspective of those, like, cultural backgrounds? Anyway, there is a developer out there, is a technically considered an indie developer. Shout out, I believe. I can't remember his actual name, but the name of the game is Inti, I believe. And I'm hoping to eventually do a spotlight on them. Actually, ironically enough, before my cousin passed away this year, she sent me a DM. I had already followed them. I had already found them. But before she passed away, she sent me a DM of like some of their TikToks and was like, you should talk about this. And so I have it in my list to this day to like build up the momentum I'm trying to do with showcasing Peruvian culture and how it showcases in games and media, but then kind of catapult that to like maybe smaller developers as well that are trying to do the same thing, but not just do it for a singular character, but actually like do it for maybe an actual story. You know what I mean? And that does exist. It's out there, but for some reason it doesn't get supported as much. So it takes like, I think maybe content creators and like people to talk about it online to be able to build that momentum. The same way we did with Peak, where Peak wasn't like a multi-million-dollar marketing campaign, but became an amazing video game that I think kind of catapulted a moment in gaming history that reminded the rest of the world that you don't need Unreal Engine to make a phenomenal game, and you don't need military-based themes around something that can be co-op. So yeah, it's kind of my thoughts on it. That's me in Steinak skin on Warframe with Aztec theme. Yes, for some people don't realize that it's not like, I see how people think it's native, but I thought it was Aztec and I thought it was obvious, and I thought it was them just showcasing representation for culture. But, you know, people, the nuances are not necessarily out there. Unless you're like part of the community. Like maybe a story of a child hearing the tables of old deities and wanting to ask the rainstorm for the starving dried farm village. Certain deities would help provide skills, armor, weapons, yet other trickster deities. Yeah, that's like a dope ass idea. And it bounces off of what happened in South of Midnight in a sense, where it's like these deities kind of just inevitably came into light through the experience of a one player, or just fully go all the way back out and like think about it from a perspective of like the actual entity. Like, can we play as Inti, which is the Incan sun god in my culture specifically, and can we just tell his story in a video game? Is that even possible? Like, can somebody just like have, this is gonna sound blunt, can somebody have the balls to be able to do it? So there are developers though, they are trying to do it. It's just being able to build the momentum and like spread the word, because even with literally, and I can show you guys, with literally just am I logged in? I might not be logged in. Let me log in. Oh, I am. Okay, perfect. I'll show you guys. By the way, hello! We are live in all 3 platforms today. Welcome back. Okay. With my Instagram, full on collage, by the way, if you guys are not over there. It's supposed to be like because there's usually people on their platform, so I do like a full-on collage like this. Here, if you guys haven't seen it, I'll play it. This was fun. I liked it. I cannot wait for next week's episode to come out. I'm super excited for next week's episode. I am so excited for next week's Peru in Games and Media episode. I am so excited for next week's Peru in Games and Media episode. The DMs I got were really beautiful. I talked about it briefly on my Instagram story. Big shout out to the people that sent me a message. I saw them. I'm not gonna reply, obviously. If somebody watches my VOD later because you're watching it. I talked about it briefly on my Instagram stories. I'm not gonna reply to DMs. It's a safety thing, I think, for many reasons. I think everybody can understand why. But I see the comments. I did read some of the messages, and I thought it was really sweet. But yeah, here.
Peruvian that's very much into gaming and media. And I couldn't help but ask myself, hey, is there other Peruvians, whether they're fictional, non-fictional, out there showcasing the culture? Why not learn about them and share them with you? We're going to start off strong with Azucena.
Section 8. New challenger.
Aquí viene el espectáculo.
Can I just say that I haven't played the Tekken series in such a long time, and I didn't realize they were like deep diving with the characters by Tekken 8 at that point. So when I started deep diving this particular character, I was like, holy fucking shit. I would go back and play Tekken, like no hesitations. I haven't played Tekken since like early age Tekken, like back in the day. I really liked it, actually.
Full name Azucena Milagros Ortiz Castillo. Oh my god, that's a mouthful. She's the very first Peruvian character in the Tekken franchise fighting video game, and her particular fighting style is MMA. It is said that her fighting style is also very rhythmic, almost like she's dancing. She speaks mostly Spanish in the video game. She's nicknamed the Coffee Queen because her lore specifically states that she's mainly there in the tournament to support and promote her family business, coffee bean farming business. Once you see her, you can't help but notice a ton of the Peruvian culture throughout her presence.
And I mean, when her introduction was given and I was looking through everything, they basically not only like showcased her like coming into the introduction like they do with most of the characters, but you'll look in the background and you'll see like people playing nuestra pequeña guitarra. I forgot the name of it. Like the instruments are so traditional to the indigenous side of Peru, specifically in the Cusco region. We have the three regions. We have like the coast, la costa, la sierra, y la selva. La Sierra specifically, what's so traditional for La Sierra as a region, specifically in the instruments, just playing people in the background with the llamas walking around. And I'm like, that's so cute.
I mean, her character design specifically really does scream Peru. And then you hear her talk and you see her move, and I can't help but feel nostalgia just simply looking at her. Her reveal stage alone was inspired by Machu Picchu, and she was voiced by Peru's very own Marisa Contreras. She's very energetic, very playful, she's very cheerful, and to be quite honest, she makes me extremely excited that there are people out there thinking about Peru as a way to develop concepts and characters. ¿Tú sabes algún otro peruano en un videojuego, en una película? Let me know. I'm happy to talk about it. See you when I'm live.
So yeah, that's been kind of the vibe, and in it came through like a lot of comments of people explaining some of the characters that they want me to talk about it. And one of the big one, you know what? I'm just gonna wait. Just wait till next week. If you guys are on my socials, it should go live around Wednesday. I'll be talking about the next Peruvian, but it is interesting to see at least like how in media, like art, like for Aztec culture, for Peruvian Incan culture, for like indigenous culture in general, throughout Latin America, even North America, and all the way down, even in the Caribbeans itself, characters do exist. They exist, but there's yet to be a full-on like film or full-on like in mainstream a full-on film, a full-on game dedicated to just that specifically, with it being an appreciation of the culture without having to draw like energy off of horror or something that almost demonizes the indigenous culture itself. But those are kind of my thoughts, honestly. It's like it's weird, but at the same time, not really. Like, I don't want to trash the horror genre because I love it so much. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, but can we stop demonizing indigenous cultures as like it being a scary thing when it's not? Because sometimes that is rooted in racism. People also don't want to have that conversation, though. You know? Just a thought. But maybe one day Pablo will pin it, Mess. He should pin it. I don't know if the mods are paying attention, though. Are the mods see? No, they do pay attention, but it's like we're going 20 miles per hour on the chats for DE. Like the journey to godhood shit. There's some Aztec deities that shit. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I'm all down for the story of an indigenous kid or somebody like say like a whack-ass nerd millennial that learns that they are like tied to indigenous culture and all the things, like, and then a whack-ass millennial. But like somebody, an average Joe that eventually learns their culture, and through it they meet a bunch of deities, similar to what happens in South of Midnight, right? Or how about we just go all the way and like explore the deities through their own stories and what makes them so like impactful for the culture in general. Why do we have God of War so easily? No, I know why. I understand why. But how is it possible that we have those kind of stories for European-centric storylines like God of War, but then people are a little too scared of doing it with like other cultures? That's why I liked Wukong, because I think Wukong is a perfect example of folklore through an Asian lens. Literally, Wukong in general was what inspired Goku in the first place. Like, there's story through that, and like being able to kind of like explore the mythology of other places and regions, whether it's Latin America, Asia, somewhere in the Middle East. Like, I think that's pretty cool. I hope in my lifetime, I have the opportunity to see my culture, the indigenous side, whether it's through La Sierra or La Selva. I hope I get to see it be translated into media in a form where it's not scary or demonized, but more appreciated and loved. And we're getting that direction. Like, I sense it, but it's also just like gonna take a while. Music. Patron of queer people for that reason. Aw. Wow. I don't even know if we have Latin Incan culture. Labyrinth Arabal. Gamify his story. I think it's possible. I think all of the deities, it's possible to gamify the story. Well, maybe not all of them. Some of them can be a little bit dark. Or like, you know what? I'm gonna say a hot take. Y'all ready? It's not a hot take. You guys know I'm pretty woo-woo and I learn a lot of mythology stuff. I wish somebody would create the real story of Medusa into a game. Not the villainized shit that often patriarchy has done. I'm talking about why she represents women who have been SA and have been abused. Why Medusa is the tattoo that a lot of women end up doing. Thank you for the check-in, Flutie. Thank you for the boss check. Damn, okay. Am I that bad today? Oh! Thank you for the hydrate. Oh shit, did I leave my water? I did. I'll leave you guys with Frida in a second. I apart from wanting like indigenous cultures be showcased in like in media, I also would like the truth behind a lot of the women in mythology to be showcased in general. That might be a hot take. That might be a hot take. Onyx Equinox. I loved it when it came out. It's an anime based on Aztec mythology. Can do it kid-friendly with mini games. Kids to play. Yeah, it's possible. Fluted with the 16. Oh, I forgot to fucking pin your 20. Hold on. That reminded me. Unpinned message. Let me go back up. 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 I know you got a 20. Pin at the top. Hi, Flutie. Let me go get my hydrate. Chug alcohol instead. I don't have any. Oh, that's a lie. I have Modelo. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. BRB, 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 BRB. I love how I like tell Frida she'll run with me. She'll run with me, but then like we'll have a hard time coming back into the office. And then she's like, I have to tell her basically, hey, it's time to go back to work. Let's go back to work. And then she walks right in. All right, let's do this together. Roll your shoulders back. Hold on. Let me do something. Okay. Roll your shoulders back. Posture check. We're gonna inhale in as we stretch our arms before we get into the spooky session. I want to start off with something actually. Hold on. Still stretching your arms. Exhale. And then you can grab your nearest alcohol and beverage, water, and hydrate. I would tell you hydrate, but you know. I want to have a conversation with you guys about something. Do you guys know about like? Let me lower the volume. Let me take it off actually, because we're about to switch over to some stuff. Do you guys know what clair senses are? Do you guys know what a clair sense is? This might be a woo-woo question, so I think some of you guys may not know it actually. For those that do not know, because this is going to lead to a conversation I have to have about something that happened last night, and I was just like, ah! Just remember, it's not Evie, it's premise. Okay, it's not a fucking. Well, that better not be. Actually, this is a great image. An image would help. This is a bit of a woo-woo question, but it might help. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys something. Because then it follows up a story. It's a spooky session today, and we're gonna do some tarot later, so might as well talk about it. Okay, so the clair senses. The clair senses are the senses of the psychic. I think in general, most of us that are in the woo-woo space would tell you that all of us in ways experience these things, okay? A good example of one of them is clear agency, which is clear touch. If you are in a, that's one that I think most of us will experience at some point if you guys believe in the paranormal. That is kind of like a, I don't know if I want to play the music that I have or here. Yeah. There. Clear agency is kind of the sense of touch or feeling clear touch. If you guys have ever been in a haunted space, let's say, or you guys see people with videos doing haunting, ghost haunting, whatever, and they feel somebody touch them, that is a clear sense in essence. There is the sense of touch of something that's not necessarily there but is. So the clear senses are like a way of of understanding all of the senses from like a metaphysical space, from the psychic, the mediums, and all that stuff. Now, a lot of us, again, experience a lot of these things. If you guys have ever worked with like end of life kind of care, or have ever experienced end of life kind of care, you're also going to see the human sometimes. If you don't believe in that, you don't have to sit here and listen to this, or you can just entertain it for a second and hear me out. Sometimes at the end of life phase, you start seeing, and people sometimes do, like the senses just start waking up, and a lot of these senses will pop up and they start feeling it. They'll likely start doing clear seeing, which is clairvoyance, clairaudience, which is clear hearing, clear seeing, a lot of that thing, right? I like to believe in a sense of like maybe our brain is locked up in a sense of just like being able to experience what's real in the moment in this plane. But I also believe that we are all capable of being able to eventually experience this. Some of us can have it in the very beginning. That's why sometimes kids experience a lot of crazy shit in the very beginning, and then they just get taught to kind of like get rid of it. To not be confused with a lot of mental health stuff. Do not confuse it. There is a difference, okay? Also, a lot of people ask me, Alex, are you sure you know this is what it is and you're not going through something crazy? No, I know, because being able to understand the woo-woo side of things, for me, means I will overanalyze it a million times for weeks on end until I finally can logically cross every single thing out that says that wasn't just an imagination thing, that is something, right? It feels at times finally at real as explaining why I felt a touch when I walked into the Stanley Hotel in one of the most haunted rooms. Like, I wouldn't be able to explain it other than somebody definitely touched my arm, right? So the clear senses are kind of like the 8 senses an individual can experience when you're going through that stuff, right? You have clairvoyance, which is clear seeing, clairaudience, which is clear hearing, clairsentience, which is a clear feeling, like you feel the emotions of it, claircognizance, which is clear knowing, you just know. The clear, oh, I can never pronounce this one. Clairalience, which is the smell. Some of you guys, have you ever smelled coffee out of nowhere? Or maybe cigarettes? I'm gonna tell you guys a story of my brother-in-law. I may not talk to him, but I often remember this. When my wife's grandma passed away, who was an avid cigarette smoker, I'm pretty sure she was doing her rounds and visiting everybody. That my brother-in-law at the time woke up to a sound and smelled the smell of cigarettes in his apartment at the time, and couldn't explain where it was coming from. And then that's when when he was telling the story, I was just like, well, yeah, isn't that around the time your grandma passed away? And wasn't she like an avid smoker? She was probably just visiting you, doing the thing that she loves, smoking her cigarette. Like, are we gonna stop it? No. Coffee is one of the smells that I sense the most. And it's been actually very prominent ever since my cousin passed away, because coffee, cafecito, that's like a big thing for Miamians. Miamians. But I sense that it's often her. Actually, it's funny, when I do my altar cleansings, and if I ever put coffee up there, my ancestor altar, out of all of my altars, is the one that chugs the shit out of the coffee. Anyway, you'll smell sometimes things. Clairgustance is the tasting, the sense of taste. You can taste something in your mouth. Clairagency, which is the touching thing, which I've already explained, and the clear empathy, clear like emotion. I always confuse that one with the sentience, but really clear emotion or clear empathy is kind of like legitimately feeling those actual emotions. Like sometimes I'll just cry because I'll feel it. I'll be put in the sense of like those emotional experience. Now, you don't have to be like this is gonna sound too, maybe, I don't know. A lot of us basically experience this at some point in our lives, whether it's towards the end of it, during some spooky sessions, maybe when someone really special comes visit us, like I just mentioned, my brother-in-law, or some of us just have never really stopped experiencing it. Some of us experience it more than others. Some of us have like really tapped into those kind of like senses and are able to experience it. Some of us tap in when we want to and are able to log out of it. And some other people don't experience it at all because they've learned to kind of like completely log out of it, because to be quite honest, most of society has always made us believe that this is just fucking crazy, right? Again, if you're gonna explore those gifts or you feel like somebody understands this, remember you must be grounded to be able to experience those senses. Everything must come from a grounded space. But I mentioned that because I think sometimes these gifts can show up in different ways. Clairognisance is the one that I am the most tapped into, apart from smelling, tasting, touch. And sometimes hearing, depending on what's, like, I'll give you guys stories about those later, but clairognisance is the one that I most experienced. And the way it shows up for me, which sometimes I never know if it's really tapped into clear seeing or clairognisance, clear knowing. That one, the ability of knowing, the way that I tap in the most with is through my dreams, and how sometimes messages come through, not necessarily somebody roll up to me and like we're having a conversation and I look like I'm fucking talking to the wind, but more of like I know. So y'all, I need you to fucking bear with me. This is gonna make me sound fucking insane, all alleged for entertainment purposes only. Have you guys been following the Lindsay Clancy case? If you haven't, I can do a sidebar for a second and explain what's happening. You guys let me know, because this is about to be I don't want to call it stupid, but this is about to be an interesting story, and I've been wanting to do a tarot reading. Yesterday, something happened. But if you guys don't know who Lindsay Clancy is, well, first of all, it doesn't surprise me that we're having to deal with this. Hold on, let me get off of video format. Okay. All right, Lindsay Clancy was, I remember when I first heard her case, I thought she was guilty. Now I'm having like a really rough time wrapping my head around it. And last night something happened. But to give you guys kind of a better understanding, she was arrested for killing and unaliving, well, correct term, unaliving for, I'm streaming, for unaliving her 3 kids through the defense is basically arguing that it's through postpartum psychosis, and that's how it happened. And how do I explain this? The only person that can attest that she said she did it was her husband, who was found unharmed in a house where she was found, apparently, had fallen off the 2nd floor with her thyroid crushed, couldn't speak, bleeding from her wrist. By the way, she's a nurse. But the cuts were in the opposite direction that you would have to do to be able to completely do it. And the three kids unalive by a... Now, the exercise ban thing could be easily explained as, like, it makes sense that only one person's DNA is on it because of just being in the environment and stuff like that. But her DNA was not in the so-called weapon that was found in to be used for the unalivings. Now the DNA did show that the dad was the one who had the DNA on the actual so-called the exercise bands that were used to unalive the kids. But there were also things that happened during the prosecution stuff. Basically, the prosecution witness and the cross that they do before it goes into defense turns, where they talk to their witnesses, and then prosecution has to do a cross examination of that. During prosecution, basically, there were things that started building, and when I say I thought at first glance from hearing the headlines, oh, she's guilty because she definitely did it for psychosis, because of psychosis, and she says she did it, so we learned through the prosecution witness and how great the defense did at doing a cross. I am now on the fence, and like reasonable doubt has been created for this particular story. Like if I was a jury, putting all my emotional senses aside, like I'm just as neutral as possible, enough reasonable doubt has been given where none of this makes sense. Why was she over medicated? Because that's another thing that they've been able to prove this whole entire time. She was over medicated. She was taking way more than normal meds. Everybody that has a license that took care of her medically needs to be taken. Those licenses need to be taken away. It's a whole separate civil case in its own. Malpractice has happened. Like it's bad. Like it's obviously bad. But enough reasonable doubt has happened on my perspective because some of the timelines in regards of the one person that says that was the one she admitted to, aka her husband, who was the only person that was found unharmed in a house where 3 kids were unalived and a woman was found had fallen from the 2nd floor with her thyroid crushed, which by the way, that doesn't just happen that easily, and you cannot reasonably talk after having your thyroid crushed that bad. Right. Enough reasonable doubt has happened. And so the trial has been going on. It's currently now the defense. I think closing arguments are about to start happening because it looks like that's the head of direction. I think they have one more witness to go in defense, which feels crazy because prosecution had an insane amount. I think what I'm understanding is prosecutions have to return one more witness in. I can't tell if they're trying to do mistrial at this point because that's the energy it's giving. But either way, if I was the jury, just with the medical records alone and the information that was given, like, she did everything she could to try to avoid anything bad happening, reached out to all the medical providers that she needed, tried to get all the professional help that she needed, communicated to her husband, which, by the way, her husband somehow managed to say to another medical professional that my wife isn't bipolar, even though that was the hint she was giving, and so the proper medication and or the proper help that could have been given if he would have just admitted that maybe she is bipolar, could have also probably avoided a lot of other issues. I don't know. That happens, right? All of these reasonable doubt. With all the reasonable doubt, if I was a fucking juror, I would probably be saying the words, if it's because of malpractice, and this could have been avoided without giving her about an 8.5 sheet, because that's what it was in evidence images, an 8.5 sheet with literally prescription after prescription after prescription after prescription after prescription after prescription after prescription from top to bottom of everything she was taking all at once at times. If that would have been avoided, if the medical team would have done the proper thing, if they would have cross-examined other medical individuals that were giving her X, Y, and Z, if they would have done all this, if they would have done everything, this would have been completely avoided, right? So, to me, the because of reason of insanity option, I do believe that's possible. But last night, I was kind of like God, I think I really want to do a tarot spread on this whole Lindsay thing because something doesn't feel correct to me. One, because the evidence that they had gathered also within the scene of the crime itself were all fucked up. And it's the Massachusetts Police Department. Again, I'm going to speak in all alleged entertainment purposes only right now. It's the Massachusetts Police, specifically the Boston, and like the history behind Massachusetts police departments are not the best when it comes to actually gathering evidence and doing things. Like, I have a friend who went to law school in Boston, and like they would tell you like prosecution, lawyers, the police, it's all just a really interesting fucking thing. And they don't do hello over on the clock app, they don't do the best job ever when it comes to all that stuff, right? And also fucking ACAB, we all know that. We know where we stand on that. Sometimes they really will just take the word of a white man versus having to do the investigation. By the way, right now there's another Lindsay and another Patrick going through literally the exact same thing here, like where I'm living, that she was found unalived in the bathroom, and the guy, her body was unalived, but the guy is saying that she did everything, but yet he's the only one standing, and there's a massive amount of blood stains everywhere, right? And the police where I'm at are saying, we're going to deeply investigate you because this all looks sus, which you would imagine would be the immediate thing, right? But it's giving, maybe that wasn't really the thing. Regardless of it, I think the patriarchy is built in such a way where a lot of people get away with a lot of shit. So last night, I was kind of like, God, I really want to do a tarot reading on all this information because something doesn't feel right. Something doesn't feel like and it's not even that I want to tap into, like, all of that thing and that energy. But I woke up briefly. I was, like, in a weird state of, like, I don't know. This is gonna make me sound fucking insane. Guys, I promise you, I don't know how else to explain it other than I just know. I woke up in the middle of the night yesterday, kind of zoned in, kind of zoned out. This is sometimes where things kind of just end up happening for me, and I will never, other than clairaudiences, I don't know how else to explain why these things happen to me, but they do. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I guess maybe the thought of me wanting to know what's been happening lately in regards to that case, because something doesn't feel right for me. God, I don't want to be part of the whole wave of everybody doing all of this, but it's really starting to bother me, and I feel like I want to pull the tarot on it. I woke up with a sense of, like, she didn't do everything people think she did. She was trying to protect the kids more than people think she was. He did it. But there's one more person involved that not a lot of people are realizing. Now, is it physically involved? I have no idea. There's rumors going around that his current wife, that he married, he's actually known her for a lot longer. Staff members from one of the clinics that his current wife worked on, or family members of some of the staff members of the clinic that she works on, say that prior to the unaliving of the children, they had seen Patrick at the office and they were very close with each other. So there is, like, internet, as Rotten Mango likes to call them, the netizens, the internet citizens, the netizens, a lot of them have done their own deep diving, which happened even during the David case, and is still happening during the David case, which is how a lot of us found out that David had been talking to Celeste for, like, a lot longer than what he's saying he is, and then the police only confirmed a lot of it through its investigations, saying that they are definitely have been coexisting in the same timeline pre the unaliving, and they think that she was the mistress, basically. So, because we've been doing collective readings for the last, I don't know how many weeks, and I'm okay to do collective readings again if we want to do that. Of course, if other people's readings want to do that. I think I'm going to take on what my brain was telling me. and do a tarot reading on that, because I don't know how else to describe it. I just feel like I want to. And I just want to see what happens. As a reminder, you guys can do the tarot redeemables over on the Purple app if you guys also want a separate reading for yourself. We're gonna get into all the things spooky today. But yeah, that's why I wanted to have a quick like breakdown of what the clairsenses are. The clairsenses are just the metaphysical woo-woo shit that helps you feel the things that are around you. But before we get into it, ads are about to start in the next 7 minutes, so we can go ahead and like meditate for a second, yap for a second, talk for a second. As a reminder, tomorrow is Warframe stream. What is happening? Okay, tomorrow's Warframe stream. We always do Day of Tarot before I start. Oh yeah. Cheers to you. Oh yeah, I prefer the strawberry. I got this one at Costco. Ooh. De la calle. It's called Modern Mexican Soda. It's not overdone. You can taste the sugar cane. It's not too sweet. It does taste like real fruit. Alright, let me get my tarot. Please enjoy my Frida for a second. One second. Frida, you're supposed to stay today. Go back to place. Go back to place. Go back to place. Okay, I'm back. I don't even mute you guys. Ah! Chill. Am I logging off? What's happening? Am I logged in? Oh, my chi-chis. I love you too. I love you too, Frida. Good night. Okay. Go back to camera. I'm gonna do my regular tarot deck. Hello. You're too comfy. Well, I like how you guys are just listening to me yap about this whole entire case and how I've been just feeling a lot lately about it, and I'm like, I just want to do a reading. You know what it feels like sometimes? We are in real time seeing kind of like, I don't want to say the fall of patriarchy, but like a reality check of how some systems really need a bit of a wake-up call here and there. Like, what do you mean so many doctors overprescribed and didn't get support? Like, what do you mean? You know? What do you mean? Can we get help? Like, what do you mean the evidence folks didn't get enough evidence from the crime scene? Why is that? Don't you guys get paid enough from our tax dollar money? do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh yeah, Flutie, there's like there's new commands on the D rule. Eric one stream got about 3 yo mamas. Like 3 of them. Same here. Your mom made me giggle. How's work? How's everybody doing? You guys are okay. There's so many things happening in the news and so many stories and so many things and just general that makes us kind of anxious. I feel like your mom. Ah, thank you. It's only Thursday. It's the eve of Friday. I get if you guys don't want to adult today. Damn, I might need a new lighter. Oh, that won't work. I cannot get the cleansing properly done. You guys just listening to me yap about how I want to do this tarot reading cracks me up. Oh, Flutie rolled a 20! Eric, you have to do roll with Flutie. Flutie, you're gonna have to roll. And so, Flutie takes the d20 roll. Well, this chat has seen 2 Yo Mama jokes. My mom is worth more than 20 in my opinion. You're right. That's valid. Honestly, I'll let Eric reroll. Okay, Eric, reroll. Reroll. I already pinned Flutie, but I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back. Here, nobody gets the pin until somebody... Okay, you gotta beat a 13. Oh, you had a 14, that's right. Back to pinning! Forgot about that. I don't know why I thought you had lower. By 1 point. That's not bad. Okay. I'm ready. Let's see. What do I get? I'm asking about the case. Eric got a 20. Try again. Eric beat a 6. Roll again. Ooh, Flutie stays. Wants to be stuck. I think he's stuck. Okay, I'm getting a King of Cups in reverse in a second. Hold on. Ace of Wands. Whoa. Okay, you want me to really talk about things getting stuck. Okay, guys, so we're getting... I kind of was general. I was saying, what about the case? What about Lindsay? What about Patrick? What do I need to know? I was just using my pendulum while you guys were rolling off. You guys know what this is, right? I've shown it to you guys. It's my format of communication. It's a form of confirmation. And I'm getting a King of Cups, which horizontal. We've addressed what I see that. We got an Ace of Wands, which is in reverse. And we got a Two of Swords, which is horizontal. Now, 2 cards of those are in position of... Okay. 2 of those are in position horizontally, which feels like an energy that's stuck. The King of Cups feels like it's Patrick specifically. Now, if it was upright, it'd be wisdom, fears, nature, calming, exterior kind of energy, right? It wasn't upside down, which was giving lack of emotional intelligence, lack of control. I think he has control. I think he's calm to an extent, but I don't think he's either or. I think he's somewhere in the middle, and I think that's why it came out horizontally. But most importantly, I feel like he senses like he's stuck. I think he feels stuck. We have the Ace of Wands. Now, the ones in each deck is usually the beginning. Not each deck. For each set is usually a very beginning of something, right? Sometimes the beginning door. Now, if it's about Pentacles, it's like opening... Ads are about to start. Opening the door for... opening the door for a new career opportunity, financial success, and stuff like that, right? If it's like an Ace of Cups, then it's opening the opportunity for new connections, new love, new emotional intelligence, even sometimes anything regarding emotional. The Ace of Wands specifically is opening the door for something usually intellectual, more mind-driven, sometimes even ideas that you may come up with. So does tarot work on a daily basis, or is it the universe just touching you on an aspect of your life and calling you out? It can work on a daily basis if you wanted to. It just depends on the question. With you guys haven't really given me a prompt. It looks like my deck just wants to call you guys the fuck out, which makes sense per my attitude and how I show up in people's lives. Like I'll explain that in a second when I'm done with this reading. Hold on. Hold on to wait. Ads are starting soon. 3-minute ads at the top of the hour. Thank you guys so much for watching those. I knew it. Okay, so Ace of Wands, right? It's in reverse. We're getting a card that's saying basically, you think, bitch, you're thinking about to start your new beginnings, but you're not. This is the false start. You think you finally got it. You think you're about to do something. This is your opening. This is how you're going to begin something new completely, and your fresh start is there, right? It's giving very much Chris Watts, if you guys know that case, where his response to starting a new life with his mistress was unaliving his children and his, I believe, very pregnant wife. Not saying, allegedly, for entertainment purposes, not saying that that's what Patrick is doing. I'm just saying there's something is giving false start. You think you're going to have a new life. False start, false start, false start, false start. And then we have a Two of Swords. I'll repeat it again once ads are starting, turned off. We got a Two of Swords and a Horse on the format. You guys know how I read this. For me specifically, that is more of a stuck position. Now, the Two of Swords, when it's upright, it often feels like you're trying to make a decision. You're stuck at a crossroads. When it's in reverse, you're kind of surpassing that moment. Still making not necessarily the best decisions in the world, or just surpassing that moment in general, but really not necessarily in the best way. You're misunderstanding how you're making those decisions and you're passing on it. You're still overthinking. Not necessarily the best of it all, not necessarily the worst of it all, but after this would be kind of like you're already, this would be in reverse, would be more like you're making that decision, maybe not necessarily in the best way. If it was this, you're kind of stuck in that decision, and you're about to make it, you're in the crossroads. If it's like this, sorry, you're about to make it, you're in the crossroads. If it's like this, you're kind of stuck with that decision. I'm sensing an energy of just somebody stubbornly thinking that something was going to be like the beginning of a new life, a beginning of new opportunities, a beginning of something that could be maybe beneficial to them, maybe a new chapter, but it's not necessarily looking the way that it is, and now we're stuck with the consequences of the decisions that we had to make. Oh, hold on. We got a Lovers in reverse. Frustration, separation, failure to meet the test. Usually kind of, if it was right, I would say it's the relationship that they're having, but it's coming in reverse. So I think it was just the end of a relationship, and I think he was trying to figure out a way out. I'm not saying Lindsay didn't do it. Allegedly, all for entertainment purposes. I just think there was more calculation that we're giving. It was the end of a really... Okay, so you guys are back. Mess, to answer your question more truthfully, there hasn't been a prompt from you guys specifically regarding something you want me to read through. I will also set a boundary, though. If I catch you asking me about a guy for... two times too many, I'm going to clock your ass and tell you need to go find love. Because the way that I show up in people's life, this is something I had to learn to also find a middle ground from. Could be the autism, actually. I don't sugarcoat a lot of things, and I don't speak until I have logically seen everything through. Tapped into my own feelings and stuff like that, and then I tell people that. I've been called a tower moment. I've been called a lot of things. This is not coming from an egoistic place. This is what people have fucking called me out on, saying that I initiate a lot of ego deaths sometimes. So I think what happens with my tarot deck, because I'm bonded to them, if a prompt's not coming in, what happens is the cards are going to likely bring something that needs to be brought to light. So if that, the readings I did for you and Eric yesterday are like an example of, without a prompt, the cards basically said, this is what you fucking need to hear. And so we outside, how about that? Here are the words you need to hear. It's not just coming from the cards, it's coming from different places. It's coming from people that probably been wanting to tell you, but can't physically tell you because they're probably not in that realm right now. But those are like the energy it be giving sometimes. And honestly, I kind of love when the tarot cards be doing that. I'm trying to learn more from like Leonard. Leonard will probably be the next deck. I think that's how you pronounce it. The next deck I end up getting. But back to the Lindsay Clancy's case. Why'd you keep thinking I'm gonna ask about men? No, I'm giving you an example. But if you want to ask about men, like if people in general ask too much about love, then I am kind of like, hey, I don't think I'm the right reader for you, because I'm just not the person to read for you. I don't believe that everything's about your relationship. And if we've gone 20 times to go talk to tarot cards about your relationship, then you yourself are not grounded enough. Not saying that's you, but you as a person are not grounded enough to make the decisions that are from your higher self or a healthier place or a more centered place, not a dysregulated place that comes from a lot of past trauma. That's why that's where I come in. Because I'm not even going to pull a card at that point and just straight up tell you what you need to hear. For back to the Lindsay Clancy case, all alleged for entertainment purposes only. I'm getting the kitty cups in a horizontal format, which feels like a man that feels stuck. It feels like a dude that isn't necessarily quite wise, but isn't really overly emotional. Isn't all these things. And I'm getting an Ace of Wands. There's a lack of motion. It feels like the door is like, you think you're about to go into something, and this is going to be your opportunity for new beginnings, but it's like not happening, right? And it's not going to do it. Then we get the Two of Swords in a horizontal format. I've talked to you guys. The horizontal format is something I openly talk about. For me specifically, is what I've told is how I just bonded with my deck. The horizontal format feels like something stuck. Again, we have the crossroads, a decision being made. We're stuck with that decision. Either it's been made or we're going to make it, but that decision's gonna make us feel stuck on something. It's gonna stuck. Something's gonna be messy. Something's not gonna be 100%. And then we got the Lovers in reverse, right? The Lovers in reverse feels not necessarily like a perfect bond. Frustration. Failure to meet the test of avoidance of choice of commitment. He's not commitment. I think he was basically all alleged for entertainment purposes only. I think he was cheating. I don't think he was committed to the relationship. I'm going in the past. It clearly is coming forward. Hello, Rena. How are you? Welcome. All alleged for entertainment purposes. Date Everything is on Game Pass. Oh my god, I want it. I got jumped by spirits and my partner yesterday. She heard my reading and was like, see, you stubborn. Hey, yesterday's reading was telling you you got all that it takes to be able to go out, have fun, stop dwelling on the past in your own hurdle. Stop being a hermit, basically. If it wanted you to be a hermit, I feel like it would have been more clear that you need to stay behind and be a hermit. But it wasn't. It was saying, we gotta go outside, ho. Have fun, ho. I don't think it was bad. I'm very healthy on my end. That's why I made sure my dogs and my pet were still filled out for the whole year. Good for you. As you should. That's a lesson the young kids need to learn about. For entertainment purposes only, again, I feel like the energy of Patrick is giving not committed. False start. Stuck with my decisions. Definitely was doing something sus in the back end. Am I tripping, cards? Did he do it? Can I get confirmation? All alleged for entertainment purposes only. Can I get some information about clarity? Did he do it? Because he's looking stressed lately. His timelines didn't make sense to me. Like, unemotional juror, if I was in that position, his timelines make no damn sense to me. Interesting. Hold on. Clarification on that one. Oh, you know what I'm getting? That's interesting. Hey, Marta. Welcome. Thank you for the likes. Hold on. I'm going to read this in a second. Yes. Success. And now not. Living with consequences? He did something else. He's more involved than we're thinking. Or at least alleged, for entertainment purposes only. We got a chariot. After I asked if he did it or not. Chariot's kind of direction and focus. You're going somewhere, right? You're traveling through something, right? You're making a decision, you're moving forward. You're doing that, right? That's the energy I'm currently getting. It's almost like, okay, I have all the tools in head to make a particular decision that I think will give me the success. I think he thought it was going to come with some sort of success, and he was going to be... Because we have the Five of Swords right after, but it's in reverse. It's not giving selfishness, but it's giving sense of conflict at the same time. Not necessarily bad, but I think it's giving the energy of like, I think people will think that I did okay and that I'm okay. Eric. And that everything's gonna be fine, but really there is a sense of energy of him not necessarily, like the guilt might be eating him more than we think. The consequences of his actions, I wouldn't be surprised if something's haunting him right now. There's a sense of imprisonment at the end of the day. It's almost like he made a decision that he thought would still make him look good. And he was moving with confidence, like he knew he was going to do it, but then the outcome is still some sense of imprisonment within his own mind to be able to have to deal with the consequences of whatever decision he had made. The way that it's coming, sorry if I hit mic, the way that it's coming forward, it's more kind of like this unemotional man wanted a way out because he was unhappy with the relationship that he had. And so the only logical thing that felt really like to make sense, and like the picture I'm getting is Chris Watts, all for entertainment purposes, allegedly only. Chris Watts, what did he do? He unalived his kids, is now in prison. He unalived his pregnant wife. Why? Because he was cheating on her. He wanted a new life. Chris Watts, that's the energy I'm getting. So it's almost kind of like, what is the best way to get out? Didn't he? Didn't he get life insurance on the kids? Yeah, blah, 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 socialize, blah, 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 touch grass, blah, 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 make friends. Not my fault. You have that reading. Yeah, he was pretty sloppy about it. What he thought was gonna be perfect, he got a Three of Pentacles, by the way, in reverse. What he thought was gonna be a perfect outing ended up being a lot more sloppy than ended up becoming, because of how easy it is, especially in today's media, to have to find information about someone, especially when the masses are going forward towards it. So it's almost kind of like he thought in his own inner circle he was going to be able to get away with something. I'm not saying he did it, alleged for entertainment purposes only. I'm saying something isn't right. There's something off, something's not okay, and he's feeling hella guilty. Very guilty over it, because some things are being caught up and it's being messy. Oh. We're on a waiting game now, though. We got the Hangman. The Hangman in a horizontal format. I think it's kind of like a waiting game, though. We're stuck. The Hangman is kind of like a... let's say we're on a break. This is going to be an example. We're on a breakup, right? Like, I had a breakup. Or you had a breakup. And the Hangman comes out, and with other cards that kind of lean towards a sense of healing and opportunity. The Hangman is almost kind of reminding you to isolate. Also, sometimes it reminds you it takes time. But it's on a horizontal format, so it feels like we're in a waiting game now of like whatever the truth is going to eventually, I think. Is it going to come out? I'm guessing that's what you're telling me. That's the energy I got yesterday. Why are you wanting to read horizontal? Date everything. Yeah. We got the 4 of Wands, which usually is a stable thing, but it's not stable right now. It's on a horizontal format. Again, it's stuck. He's stuck. Whatever stability he thought he was gonna get, it's stuck. We're just on a waiting game now. It's almost like he knows something's gonna happen. Whatever new information. Yeah, we got a Knight of Wands in the reverse, which is not necessarily the most positive thing to get about, especially a male present figure. Ah! Oh, I'm so sorry, Frida. Ah! Sprinkle your games around. Evil-minded. If it was for like this, I'd say he was passionate. He would want to find an answer. Maybe he wants the truth to come out because he's not guilty, right? But it's coming in a reverse. Rena, for entertainment purposes only, we're talking about Patrick Clancy. If you don't know the case, I can do a brief breakdown. But it's about Lindsay Clancy's case, the mother with quote-unquote postmortem psychosis that unalived her 3 kids. But now the timelines aren't making sense. And the only persons that can attest that she said she did it after she got her thyroid crushed. After falling from a 2, or jumping, what they say, from a 2-story height. And every other person that went to check her can say that she couldn't say a word. The husband, the one that was found with the 3 dead bodies. Yeah. On for entertainment purposes, allegedly. This is his reading. Yeah, it's coming on verse. And given guilty of something. Why did I wake up yesterday? What is Lindsay's energy? Yeah, because he thought it was a way out. Oh, I'm rereading the hold on. With Lindsay, specifically, for that question, we're getting frustration with the 10 of Wands. I feel like she's carrying a lot of the burden in general. Well, yeah, she's the one behind bars, technically, in a wheelchair, paralyzed. And people are telling her how basically, as the court case goes on, people are basically showing how bad the medical system failed her in general, and nobody was listening to her. She also gets the burden that her kids are gone. Interesting. Four of Swords in reverse. I don't think she's having a good night. I don't think she's having a good night. I think she's struggling, which makes sense. Why does the emoji not read through my chat on her clock app? That's interesting. Rena, do you not know what's happening with the Lindsay Clancy case? That's interesting. Are you from America? No, right? Maybe that's why. It's almost like she's giving up hope. Thank you for the heart me, Alt. How are you? Honestly, it's the first hearing about it too. Really? Oh my god. The only reason why I understand it is because my wife is in the medical field. So a lot of the testimony from the medical professionals. Oh, sorry. I know who you are. I just don't think I remember your actual name. I know you have been I'm sorry. It's been a minute. Oh. Okay, I'm asking about Lindsay in the future. I'm getting a 3 of Wands, which is the beginning after. It's technically instability, but is the beginning in essence, right? It doesn't necessarily feel like a bad thing, but it feels kind of like a better positioning for something a little bit better. There's a sense of honesty and openness that's likely going to end up happening from all of this, and I can sense it actually from her energy. If you guys are watching the court case and the court hearings in general, her demeanor from when it first started to like what it is now, after whatever new regulation system has happened for her, and whatever thing is helping her medically, with continuously seeing how the medical professionals in witness stand have failed her, and how cross-examination has gone to a point where it's getting clogged, and we can all see it in the Commonwealth, aka prosecution. It's doing not necessarily the best job at doing what they were supposed to. And we are all collectively, women collectively, are seeing how, yeah, the medical system fucking sucks in America. So it makes sense that all of their fucking licenses need to be basically taken away at this point. Because who fucking prescribes and continues to prescribe more and upping the dosage more in less than a month? And every time just keep increasing it, instead of just being like, maybe that doesn't work. I'm in South America. I usually eat and sleep true crime, but yeah, I've been going through the motions a bit. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Selena? You mean Sylvia? Selena's my niece. Why would you be talking to my niece? Why are you talking to minors, huh? You mean Sylvia. I know you mean Sylvia. I'm joking, by the way. South Africa. Oh, shit, my dyslexia. Thank you. Selby. Thought her name was Selena. No, you're good, you're good. Selena's her daughter. Selena is very much the child. Sylvie or Sylvia. I call her Sylvia. Alex, now you're gonna get someone canceled. I ain't trying to get no one canceled. I'm very protective of my family. As I should be. Nobody should be mad at me for being protective of my family. But yes, I just needed to clarify that. We got a... There's gonna be delays in all of this. There's gonna be a lot of frustration. I'm wondering if there's gonna end up being a mistrial after all. It's giving somebody's trying to push a mistrial. It's gonna take some time. Okay, I can't read all these cards at the same time. We got a 9 of Wands in reverse. Somewhat of a delay. There's a sense of frustration. There's anxiety behind it. I'm sure that's from all parties. I'm pretty sure defense doesn't want a mistrial, because then that means they have to do it all over again. Or maybe that could help her. I could be wrong. If anybody understands law a little bit better in the Americas, that might be helpful. 2 cards. We'll leave it at this. Okay, whatever's gonna happen in the court case, some messy ass shit is gonna happen. Something messy's happening. I still sense a mistrial, but maybe I'm wrong. Something messy is gonna happen. Something has already been messy. People have been already messy online. Clearly, he's also been messy because he doesn't remember his fucking timeline. But then we also have a bit of a protective source. We got a Queen of Pentacles forward. I wouldn't know if... Is that somebody else? is this feminine energy? Somebody else might be coming forward and it's about to make things just go haywire, basically. It's almost like there's missing information that hasn't come out in all of this, but I feel like something's about to come forward and just be like, here's all of it. And it since it being kind of like a woman energy or more of a Queen of Pentacles energy, I don't want to gender card sometimes. Some people can have more feminine energy and it can be completely somebody else. Oh, I'm sorry. There's like a maternal energy stepping forward too. Don't know who it is, but whatever that feminine energy I'm getting, whatever she brings forward is gonna cast like some complexity. It's not gonna be fully aggressive. If it was like a straight up 4 or 5 of wands, it's in reverse. Chaotic in a sense, but not too complex. And I think more information is likely gonna come forward. What is happening with my purple app today? Spirit! When did this happen? I feel like I need to go Google this. The unalivings happened 3 years ago, and the trial has been going on for a little less or about a month. It's been on court TV. There's like a third energy. Am I tripping? More information. There's like more information to happen. I think I'm sensing like a mistrial, but I feel like more shit's gonna happen. Who in the spirit of what is happening? Yeah. Something is up. My connection is being really weird right now. Just so you guys know. Of course, the one day I decided to do a true crime reading. The one day I decided to do a true crime reading. I'm getting a hermit upright. You're talking about Lindsay? She can't talk? She can talk now, I believe. Yeah, after she got the thyroid done. I'm getting all in time. It's giving it'll happen in time. It's giving Lindsay's also probably gonna isolate Emma a bit more to really figure out the truth. It's giving, I think she knows deep inside what happened, but she was probably really on every medication that could have been given to her. And I think other people might know more, but it's not happening now. But then I'm going back to the Queen of Pentacles energy, almost like a feminine energy. Something's coming. I just want to know if it's a mistrial or not, but I guess I don't need that answer. I just think something's happening. The whole you need a break. I literally gave slight breakdown earlier, but I'll give it again. Let me bring these cards down. All I'm getting is he's more guilty than he's giving out. All alleged for entertainment purposes only. It's giving. She honestly does not fucking remember a lot of it, but it's gonna take some time to be able to remember. He's living with some sort of guilt right now. There's some sort of truth that's gonna happen, and I think other sources are gonna be the ones to bring up. I'm sensing in a female energy coming forward, something more grounded, that's going to cause a bit of commotion, but not too crazy, not a massive fight. Something about the trial. I don't know if it's mistrial or not. It's giving mistrial now. mistrial or for sure insanity, but I don't know. I would be shocked if it's guilty though, because it feels like he's more involved than we're thinking he is. Okay, let me give you a breakdown of the case. I thought I gave you guys the base breakdown earlier, but I'll do it again for those that are missing out. All right, listen here, potatoes. I'm gonna call you guys that. That's my community name. You fucking potatoes. I'm a potato, you're a potato. We are what we eat. Lindsay Clancy is a mother that dealt with postpartum during the time. She basically saco de papas. Saco de papas, yes, potato sack. Excuse me. This happened 3 years ago. Basically, she was struggling with postpartum disorder. Postpartum disorder, is that the correct term? She had a postpartum diagnosis pretty much, or was postpartum. If you guys don't know what that is, it's basically like, how do I explain that in a professional manner? Let me read the proper term. Postpartum is a period of time that begins immediately after childbirth and typically lasts about 6 to 8 weeks. Though full physical and emotional recovery can take many, many months. During this phase, the body heals from delivery, hormone levels shift drastically, and parents adjust life with a newborn. Right. So that was like something she was going through. Yes, what Hayden Panettiere had. The thing is that it's a little bit more complex when it comes to Lindsay. Because not only was it dark thoughts, she was basically and I'll say this, like, let's say I'm an unemotional juror, and I'm an unemotional juror, right? And I'm looking at the case. There's been enough credible doubt to be put on the medical systems itself, because when Lindsay was basically going through it, she was being over medicated. I don't know if you guys have ever gone through a psychiatrist and all these stuff and have to talk about your medication management. Every time she would talk about some of the things that were happening, mind you, again, she's a nurse, so she knows a lot of the stuff and over research everything. And thankfully for her, she documented all of what she was feeling, everything they were giving her, everything she was experiencing, all of it was in her journals. So we at least have that, because she's a nurse. That's what they do. They track everything, that they know everything. Basically, she notes everything, yada yada yada. And in the notes, you start realizing, and through even the doctor notes, you start realizing that they're upping her doses more and more, and they're giving her other things that make no sense, that are causing side effects to this, to a point where in the evidence of the court case, you see an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper with literally writings across from top to bottom of all the medications they had Lindsay on. If there's anything that's come out of this case, is that every single doctor that took care of her needs to get their license taken away. Because regardless of whether we believe she did it or not, at the end of the day, all of this could have been avoided if the medical system had done it correctly by giving her the proper support. Because what do you mean you put her in new meds, and instead of testing, maybe reducing the dosage, you just double it and increase it in less than a month or in a month or so? Then what do you also mean your notes are not properly written in your actual medical documentation? And why are you not writing those notes as a doctor, as a professional, in a way where you know if this ever shows up in court, you'll be okay? Because not only was she getting overprescribed and among all these things, right? The doctors also were not properly addressing information, which is also giving the hint that the medical place that she was going to was probably completely inappropriate and not okay too. Anyway, she was being over medicated. She was going through postpartum, and so the saying goes, the night that her kids pass away from strangulation or whatever happened, she also decided to almost unalive herself by jumping off. Yeah. By jumping off the second floor after unaliving her kids. To unalive herself, right? But where the evidence, and this is where the netizens and kind of like even just hearing it being talked in the court is kind of confusing. And if I was a juror, I'd be confused too. Her body temperature for the time span that happened, right? Oh, additional context. The only person that was able to hear her say the words, "I did it, I unalive our children," was apparently her husband, who was found completely okay next to a woman that looked like she was dying and 3 kids that were unalived. I was told my meds would only be adjusted after 6 months without improvement. Okay, exactly. Rena, they didn't do any of that with her. They just kept upping it. Shut up, Streamlabs. Stop correcting mess. That's a correct reaction. So they found the husband, right? And he tells them, she fucking killed the kids. Those are the words. He then says that she told him. This is where things feel weird, and this is why I started feeling weird. Because when I first heard the case, I was like, oh yeah, she totally did it. Then it's probably psychosis. It makes sense. Like, she was over-medicated. Like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Right? Then the court case happens, and all this information starts coming out. And I'm just kind of like, okay. As a person of color and as a woman, I can confidently talk about 2 things. I've been failed by the medical system, and I've been failed by the system, period. Some things don't add up, because then professionals online started weighing in about some of the evidence. We're going to start off with the evidence gathering of the actual day of the unaliving. Evidence was not properly gathered on the day of the gathering. Sorry, of the unaliving. Like, after they picked up, they were doing the crime scene case. There is a mishap in the evidence gathering in general. Again, we're talking about allegedly for entertainment purposes, whatever. We're talking about the Massachusetts police in general. Like, they do not have, I believe it's the Massachusetts police. They do not have the best fucking police department in general. They have, like, those, I'm sorry, there's history behind that. We can talk about that. But it's already sus that there's a weird track of evidence in general. Even police officers online are saying, I do not understand why the police department wasn't going harder on the husband more for the investigation, because for us, from our perspective, he would be subject number 1, even if he says the words, she did it. Even. Why? Explain why. During the court hearings, we start hearing the medical examiners talk about Lindsay's body when it was found. Now, from what I understand, Lindsay was found, again, I must emphasize, Lindsay was a fucking nurse, so a lot of things she should know how to do. She had cuts on her wrists that were not in the angle or direction that you would imagine it to be if you're trying to unalive yourself. 2, she was... Some medical professionals online talked about it. The way she was found was she was tossed out the window because she landed head first. I could also say that maybe it's the over-medication, so I can give that part. But it's the fact that, and other people came forward, and I don't remember the title of this profession, but it's the people that work on reheating and realiving people that have reached a certain temperature range body-wise. Right? For being outside for X amount of hours, almost possibly unaliving, dying, basically. The professionals basically are saying it makes no sense why her body temperature was 85 degrees or less, because if that's the case, that means her body was a lot outside for a lot longer than what the husband timeline is saying. Professionally, it makes no sense that her body temperature was this, because that means she was in the verge of dying for a lot longer and outside bleeding out for a lot longer than what people are thinking. Right? That's one. Another weird one that I was like, what? Her thyroid, this area was crushed. If you guys don't know what happens when that is crushed and you go through that shit, you can barely talk. Then the police officers that came into the scene came in and said themselves, she could barely talk. She could barely talk. She was moaning and groaning, but couldn't really say a word. Couldn't talk. And yet somehow, Patrick, the husband, states that he found them like this, and Lindsay, the wife, told him that she did it. She's been bleeding out. Head first jump. That's what it's showing. Thyroid crushed. Body temperature at 85. She says she did it. Then, okay. Then we go into the evidence. Again, the evidence that were gathered. The elastic exercise bands that apparently were used to unalive the children. The three of them. Basically, the DNA, or Lindsay's DNA, who would be somebody who's going through a psychosis, who was taking pills, who was not herself. Her DNA was not found on the weapon. And the only DNA, which can be explained as because it's an item from the house, everyone's DNA could also be there. But the only DNAs that were found in the elastic band was his. Then there was a point in Lindsay's life between the unaliving and like the over medication where she started to stop taking certain types of medication, right? They found the meds crushed up on a drink, basically, from what I believe. I could be getting this evidence part wrong, but it was crushed up or taken with some sort of like juice, basically. But then also there was an evidence bag that was found later on by additional investigators outside of the police department that was found in Patrick, the husband's possession, that had all the medicine that she no longer took because it wasn't making her feel good. So, with that, with some of the weird ass timeline that because the husband went on the stand. My belief, and I agree with some of the people that are saying this, my belief is all alleged for entertainment purposes only, especially after reading the tarot cards. I think the wife that he's married with now, sure, maybe he didn't marry her until as of recently. Per some of the internet, again, you have to give the internet some sort of credit, because when it came to the Celeste and David case, we found so many pictures because of the internet of him basically being around that poor girl and basically being disgusting to that poor underage girl for such a long time. And so when the internet, yes, he's married again. He moved after, devoted Catholic, by the way, cremated his 3 babies. I mean, new modern Catholicism doesn't necessarily matter, but for the most part, cremation is an interesting thing. Interesting choice. And then I think 2 to 3 months later, he moved to New York. He moved to New York, where his current wife is from. And then as of, I think last year, or this year, he married the new wife. Okay, so here's what the internet sleuths have gathered. The internet sleuths have gathered the information that apparently there is information being tracked. If cremated, his remains can be re-examined. I think he's guilty as fuck. I'm gonna say alleged for all the things that I'm about to say. The internet sleuths have found some pictures that showcase Patrick and his current wife hanging out years prior to Lindsay and him hanging out, from what I understand. But even further than that, there are some timelines of him traveling and going places while he's still married with Lindsay, to places where, ironically enough, his current wife was also at. The internet sleuths are taking the wild guess that this is very much like a Chris Watts case, where, and it's funny that the cards laid out the way that they did. Ooh, okay. So the way the cards were laid out when I was doing the tower rating, the energy that it was giving is basically, I feel stuck in this relationship. I don't want this anymore. Best way of getting out of it is by using your postpartum as a tool to get away from it and starting my life completely over. What the internet sleuth, all alleged for entertainment purposes only, are saying though is that it's not just him that probably was involved, that she probably has more involvement that they're giving out. That both are guilty, basically, the new wife and him. In my opinion, I don't necessarily care much about the new wife until solid information is given, but I do believe that there's enough information online to share that maybe he wasn't the most loyal man out there in the world, and that he had made a particular decision that's gonna fuck him up for the rest of his life. It's just gonna take some time to kind of come to light. Again, alleged for entertainment purposes. Because some of the timeline information that was given doesn't really make sense. And if I was a juror coming at it from a perspective of listening to both sides and the way that the evidence were coming out, even if I didn't have like all of the internet sleuths in the background, a lot of that just doesn't make sense. What do you mean her temperature was like? I need some of the people professionally were talking about, some of the professionals online were talking about how they need to have like the professionals in the ER room that specifically focus on like bringing back up the temperature of a human body and why it's important to address that, and how a human body can go that low because it doesn't happen that fast. Sometimes it can, but it's not normal. Not during the setting of the day, not in the environment they were at. Also, the youngest baby, I believe, or one of the babies, was slightly revived again in the hospital, but then passed away and was held in a coma, from what I believe, and didn't die technically immediately. And that body temperature wasn't as low as Lindsay's body temperature. Now, you could say the factor that he was inside and she was outside, but people would still debate that as saying it still doesn't make sense why her body temperature was that low during that period of time. Like, it doesn't happen that fast. It would have taken a little bit longer than that. It almost gives as if the professionals online, all right, these are people with degrees, they're talking about it. People with degrees are talking about it right now. They're speculating, alleged for entertainment purposes only, they are speculating that he, alleged for entertainment purposes, that's what you got, he was drugging her, reused the meds that she wasn't using anymore to push her into that psychosis level, to get her to either act upon her own beliefs of her imaginary thing, but it didn't work out the way it wanted to. So he decided to snap, to handle things the way that he wanted to, because his narcissism and abuse people maybe like that. Alleged for entertainment purposes only. I keep saying that, by the way, because he's literally threatening to do a lawsuit to the whole entire internet, by the way. Guilty. Tell us you're guilty. But whatever, maybe that's just my opinion. He has gathered stuff. He's trying to sue people. what the solicitor professionals are saying online that are not involved in the court case right now are believing, this includes literally professionals within the police departments and investigators, to medical professionals who work ER, as well as other stuff, as well as professionals that are like in the mental health services, as well as just like social workers that have come in and kind of gather their own input about everything. The hypothetical, if let's say the investigation would have been further detailed, they believe that he probably used the drugs that she wasn't using anymore, that they were supposed to dispose, and he used them to drug her to get to a point of psychosis to prove some sort of point for him. But it didn't work the way that it wanted to, and so he decided to take care of her first and then took care of them and then used that. Oh, there's also the email fiasco that he says that he's supposed to be at a restaurant or something picking something up, but then somehow it shows that he sent an email at a certain period of time. By the way, he works for Microsoft and in tech, and apparently the internet wasn't working ironically enough, wasn't working during the period of time that all of this incident happened. Somebody online, it was an insurance person, claimed, they said that he probably wasn't expecting her to be alive, but they said something along the lines of like, if she was unalive and she was found unalive, because by the way, those 3 kids had life insurance and he collected all the life insurance from that. Put that aside, they said that they're pretty sure if the mom wouldn't have survived it, the police department, maybe they wouldn't have investigated, but we can sure as hell say that the insurance company would have put all the funds to investigate whether or not he was guilty for doing that or not, because insurance are not going to just pay out life insurance to anyone. Again, though, there's nobody else that can corroborate this story that she's guilty other than the one person she apparently said she was guilty for. There's also apparently some information about how the oldest girl and the only girl of the group. This is heavy on the entertainment for hypothetical, whatever. There's also apparently information about how Lindsay was feeling really like she just wanted to make sure her kids were safe, which is part of the postpartum part as well, being a mom and all these stuff. Apparently, there's signs that the girl had a UTI, which is possible, it can happen. But again, for alleged, this is all alleged, the internet, including some professionals, especially social workers, are coming forward saying, if this is information she's finding out before the unaliving, it is possible. When I say UTI and a young kid, I think you guys know where I'm leaning with that information. I think that it could have given him a motive to freak out. This is all alleged, of course. But yeah, there's a lot of information. The internet sleuths, professionals, and all this have found out additional just tiebacks to like even trips that he has taken where the current wife, well, he was technically married to Lindsay, which is the mom with the postpartum. They're somehow in the same place around the same time. Oh, and then, okay, so here's the thing about Lindsay and his current wife. They look identical. Somebody put a half picture of Lindsay, a half picture of the new wife next to each other, and it looks like the same human. And so, yeah. Somebody definitely used a glove when handling the weapons. I'm not saying that it was probably the new wife. I'm just saying something's weird. Something doesn't add up. And I honestly, if you were to ask me, I would have done a little bit more investigating on the husband. But ads are about to start in the next minute or so. This also tells me that he has connections with the police department. It's funny you say that, Mess. You want to know why I say that? Because he eventually sold the house where everything went down, and I believe the district attorney bought the house. So, just so you know, which is why the jury is not allowed to take a tour inside the house. Just so you know. Ads are about to start. Thank you guys so much for watching the 3-minute ads. I appreciate you. Shout out to the subbies. Thank you for the subs. We do top of the hour ads over on the Purple app as a way to support the stream. Thank you so much for literally just being the best. For entertainment purpose. I think there's blackmail involved here. You know, I think so. I think maybe not blackmail, but maybe just like something just doesn't add up. Because what do you mean you're the only one that heard her say the words, but then when the police department came by, like she can't even ground. She's just in pain. She's like not even conscious. Like, what do you mean? So my tarot reading was more like saying, like, if we look back at it, if you guys go back into the tarot reading, it's giving kind of like stuck energy. Like he was giving, he's stuck, he feels stuck, he wants to get out. It's a false start though. It's a false start though. Like this isn't like the start you're wanting to do. Also, the fact that he cremated the body is kind of crazy. Wouldn't you want to keep the body intact for a little longer just so the police department can get all the evidence? He's gonna walk away because he props made it. I mean, those are your kids and you forgive the person who unalived them? No, sorry. Oh, well, yeah, that's also weird. He did say he wanted people to forgive Lindsay for things because at the end of the day, it's a product of malpractice for the over medication. But I thought that was also weird because I was like, I wouldn't care. That's my child. But I get it because technically there's a civil lawsuit happening as well after this. The civil lawsuit specifically is directed to the medical professionals that over-medicated her. Through that malpractice, if it would have been a little bit different, a lot of the 3 lives technically, like let's say even if she was guilty and he's not like doing all that, like he's fine, he never did anything and all that jazz. Basically, in that lawsuit, if all of this could have basically been avoided if the doctors would have done a better job at being doctors and like properly giving her the medicines and done it in a proper like pace instead of overdoing it within a short period of time and it not helping her. Because he wants to focus on that. The thing is that lawsuit, because he has his own separate lawsuit with the medical professionals, and Lindsay herself has another lawsuit with the medical professionals. Not that it matters for her because she's already incarcerated for possibly, allegedly, the unaliving of her kids because of postpartum, right? But the fact that he got all 3 life insurance from the kids. When the kids died, he took all the money from that. He had additionally a GoFundMe. They reached $1 million. He took the money from that. And now he has a lawsuit for malpractice with those medical professionals. And that is about $1 million lawsuit. Something isn't adding up in my opinion. I'll let you for entertainment purposes. If I were her defense, I would take all the blood exams done and when she was treated and backtrack with the notations and medications to see if there were any discrepancies. They kind of did. I don't know how deep they went to. Also, I can tell that prosecution, because Mess, if you go back to the court hearings and you start hearing everything that's going down, like even if you were to ignore the internet community talking about it and just watch the court case alone and just the court hearings, the prosecution didn't have to accept the case. They could have just taken her, accepted her as it was, and not having to go to court to prove whatever they wanted to prove, because she did it, she wasn't crazy. All accepting this case did was prove that there was definitely more malpractice than they thought, and the poor girl was that the woman was over medicated. Like the system failed her, and so they call them copy paste because the two prosecutors look exactly the same. They look like the stepsisters from Cinderella. They literally, people use that image. They are reaching at every stand to basically make it somewhat uncomfortable. There have been unprofessional. There has been lawyers that have come out and said they are for the Lindsay Clancy case. We're talking about Lindsay Clancy, the postpartum case that's happening. There has been lawyers that have come out and have openly talked about the prosecution specifically. They've done a pretty shit job at trying to prove whatever they were trying to prove, and if anything, they almost gave the case up to the defense, because every evidence and every fucking witness they brought up only continued to prove the fact that the malpractice had been happening and the system had failed her. And so towards the end, before closing, things started happening in a way where I feel like I can sense a mistrial, or them trying to cause a mistrial, or maybe they just also don't believe something, and maybe they really just want the mistrial to try to bring in more evidence later with further investigation. I don't know what's happening, but it's so sus with even the lawyers out there are coming out and saying this is kind of like the worst way to handle a prosecution and an example of what you cannot do professionally. Because not only are they're just choosing the worst options to possibly fucking try to prove something. They're also getting caught in a hot mic. There's lawyers online saying you're not supposed to talk, you're supposed to write your notes to each other, because the hot mic, the last thing you want to do is the hot mic to pick up whatever the fuck you're saying. And then what else has happened? Then was the unethical fucking question that happened in court. You guys know separation of state and church, that's a big thing. You do not bring that kind of shit in the fucking church. You don't bring kind of shit like that into the court case. The mother-in-law, aka the husband's mom, right, goes up to do the testimony, and they're retelling a story about whatever, of them going to church and being together, and like retelling how she saw Lindsay and how she knew that she wasn't okay and blah blah blah. I think the reason why she's hoping is because they know that there's also a civil case attached to it, so they can directly sue the institution and the medical providers, basically. But put that aside, the copy paste, that's what they call it, but the prosecution starts asking questions to the mother-in-law and then says the words, "Do you go to church?" Or she says something like, "Do you go to church, or do you believe in God?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then, but again, this is not good to do as a prosecutor. You don't do this in law. You just don't. Immediately goes to the mother-in-law while she's on the witness stand or the stand and says, do you know that the Catholic religion, murder is a deadly sin or ultimate sin or whatever? And literally, apparently, people that were in the courtroom said that the jury audibly gasped and all stare at the prosecution. Literally, as she's saying that, the judge bangs his fucking hammer down and says, "Sidebar," or like, "Come up now." And like, that's making people believe basically at this point that it's probably going to go for a possible mistrial, because it's almost like they want it. Like, there's no way they're this, not that I believe they're incompetent, but this is what the internet is saying. There's no way that these people are so incompetent that they can't realize that they're about to throw the case and they're going to go for mistrial, or maybe that's what they want. But yeah, It's crazy. It's so crazy. By the way, we haven't talked about anything spooky yet. I've been just trying to recap you guys on this. Crazy. We're gonna go ahead and move into the spooky things. So yeah, last night I woke up with a random dream about like some claircognizance kind of vibe, and that's why I wanted to do the tarot reading, because I was like, there's something here. We could say the spookiness is the audacity of these men. No, actually, yeah. Yeah, there's like a lot of people in law and like ex-police officers really confused about why he wasn't investigated deeper. I wish I was joking. Yeah, but that's not allowed in the court, hound dog. That's why the judge stopped it, like as she said it, and did a sidebar, because that's not allowed, and then looked at the jury and said, disregard everything that was just said. That's not allowed. It's like unethical. It's like a whole conversation. It's, I don't know how else to explain it other than it's just, you just can't. Separation of church and the court, basically. Because you can't technically use a sin as a form of convicting someone. Because if that, then we'd be back in like the 1700s or something. You ready? No. You don't have to swear on a Bible. Because freedom of religion. Not all of us are Catholic or Christians. You can swear with your hand to the judge, but you don't have to do that. You can also swear to the Constitution. I know what you're talking about. It's because religion somehow is really dived into media and TV. A lot of people don't realize that Christianity is like really woven into a lot of pop culture. But freedom of religion, you don't have to swear to that.
Hello everyone, my name is Sir Spooks, and today we'll take a look at 17 scary videos. But before we begin,
Hound dog is still not allowed. That's why the judge said, like, I'm trying so hard. It's not about, even if it's leading the witness, it's still not even allowed. You're not even supposed to mention anything regarding that. Period. It's unethical, basically. It's like completely unethical because you're not even supposed to bring religion into it and only stating, I guess, factual stuff.
make sure to subscribe to my most people, then this video will comforting places. As a matter of fact, a lot of people find them pretty unsettling. If you're one of those people, then this video we're about to look at probably won't help much. The video was posted to the Paranormal Encounter subreddit by a user known as NoTower5558 and showcases the 4th floor of an undisclosed hospital that was apparently closed down many years ago. According to the uploader, security experienced this while doing their rounds.
You need to come to 369 because we're experiencing a ghost.
Big time.
Literally.
Okay, there it goes.
Seriously, come look at this.
Now it's gonna stop. So if you know it, say hi.
Ethel.
Paul?
Ethel.
What's wrong with you tonight? What?
Y'all know the name?
What's wrong, Ethel?
Where is the like?
As you can see throughout the video, multiple lights can be seen flickering on and off in the room. At one point, a television even appears to turn on by itself. What also makes the footage interesting is that the hospital workers can be heard asking, "Ethel, what's wrong with you tonight?" implying this may not be the first strange incident they've experienced on the abandoned floor. The atmosphere of the video alone is enough to make it feel eerie, especially knowing the area has supposedly been closed off for years. Of course, there could still be more ordinary explanations behind some of what's happening, especially in an older hospital where electrical issues wouldn't exactly be uncommon. Even so, the workers' reactions make it seem like this wasn't entirely normal.
Raina said, yeah, Ethel is still upset about the cold meal you fucking served her. Probably. She's just coming back and be like, somebody help!
So who exactly is Ethel? And why do the workers seem so familiar with these strange occurrences? Whatever the
Have I told you guys about my friend that works at a fucking, or used to work at a retirement place, and how the retirement place was haunted? That's our thing.
explanation may be, it's definitely a creepy video to watch late at night. Over on TikTok, a man named Nolan Brock posted a video to his account back in February of 2023 that showcases a piece of home security camera footage taken inside his living room. Nolan says he had accidentally fallen asleep on the couch at the time of the recording and mentioned that when he reviewed the footage afterward, it genuinely terrified him.
Imagine it's just the old owner that like passed away in the house, just being like, hey man, how are you? I'm just, you know, just getting some eggs, some snacks. Okay, but why do they slam things?
At first, we can hear strange noises coming from the doors as they slowly begin moving on their own. Nolan appears to wake up briefly and look around before eventually falling back asleep on the couch. A little while later, the footage cuts ahead to another moment when Nolan is asleep once again. This time, one of the doors suddenly slams shut loudly, instantly.
I don't even know what I would do personally in regards to this kind of situation, because at the same time, I'm like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to wake me up? Are you mad at something? Who hurt you when you were alive? Like, what is it that you're trying to prove in this situation? What do you want to have a conversation about? Like, what is it? Do you feel strongly about your car insurance? What is it?
Jolting him awake in confusion as he tries to figure out what just happened. The build-up beforehand is what makes the clip feel especially unsettling. The doors don't immediately slam shut right away, but instead seem to move gradually at first before the louder incident happens later on. It's easy to see why some viewers interpreted this as some kind of paranormal activity, especially with how forcefully the door closes the second time around. Of course, there could still be a more ordinary explanation behind what happened, whether it was airflow inside the house or something else off camera.
My mom, my mom's favorite line is that yo soy la mala de la película. I'm always the villain in the movie. Imagine my mom passes away to just occasionally likes to remind me by throwing the fucking something on the ground or slamming a door, and just I can hear her from a distance, even if she's not here in this earth anymore by then. Yo soy la mala de la película. Some shit like that. Never
It
at
isn't
peace with a
obvious
Latino
from
man.
the footage alone. Even so, the way the door moves and eventually slams shut still looks fairly unnatural, which is a big part of why the clip unsettled so many viewers. So what do you think happened here? Was this some kind of ghostly encounter, or just a strange coincidence caught on camera?
Was it a strange coincidence, Rena? Do you think it was a strange coincidence? Do you think the hurricane winds came through and just hit that and slammed it?
Over on the cryptid subreddit, a user posted a video that
A
showed
random chancla encounter. Our parents, big F, our parents, my parents, Eric's parents, Mez's parents, whoever's Latino in the chat, our poltergeist, if it's our parents mad at something, it's just them throwing chancla at us.
In the description of the post, the uploader explains that he and his friend regularly go on late night walks and often talk about paranormal topics while they're out. One night, after the uploader left to go to the gym, his friend decided to walk home alone and took the long, spooky way, snapping random pictures along the way like they usually do.
Oh, the camera angle's like tripping me
According
out
to
a little
the
bit.
post, the friend originally thought he may have photographed an animal, but after increasing the exposure of the image, they noticed something much stranger standing in the darkness. The uploader also insists the image was 100% unedited, other than the exposure.
Okay, show the exposure. What is there?
And mentions that when they returned to the area the following night, they heard noises that made them feel like they were being followed.
Wait, what is that? Bro, why the fuck does it look like that? Why is it two blobs? It's a Pokemon. It's a fucking Pokemon. It's a fucking Pokemon. It's a pal. Who am I? Whose side am I on?
As you can see, there definitely appears to be something standing off in the distance, though what exactly it is remains completely unclear. The silhouette and shape of the figure look unusual enough to immediately stand out.
It looks so
once
fluffy.
you notice it. To me,
It kinda
almost
does.
resembles the popular creepypasta turned urban legend known as the Rake.
No, it
Though, of
doesn't.
course, it could easily be something far more
It straight up
ordinary
looks
as
like a
well.
fucking alien.
There is the possibility
It quite
that the
literally
figure
looks
is
like a
simply
Pokemon.
person partially obscured by darkness and the increased exposure of the image, which can sometimes make shapes appear much stranger than they really are.
Can I pet
Still,
that dog?
the shape of the figure is unsettling enough to make the image difficult to completely brush off. So what do you think this creature could be? If you have any theories or possible explanations,
Can I
be
pet
sure to
that
let me know
dog?
down in the comments.
Can I pet that dog?
Reddit user Iron Baboon posted a video
That's gonna
to
be
the
my vocal
UFO
stim for the
subreddit,
next hour,
showcasing
dude.
some eerie footage filmed on March 25th,
Years with ear
2026
flattened,
at
maybe.
around 7 p.m. in Doha, Qatar. The clip was recorded during a thunderstorm and doesn't
hell?
waste much time getting right to the strange part.
Why is it always like a low quality video though? Oh, what is that? What the fuck is that? Wait, what the fuck is that? Why did I
Throughout
fall?
the short video, 3 glowing orbs can be seen moving around in the sky in the middle of the storm. Despite the heavy weather conditions, the lights appear distinct and separate from the lightning flashing throughout the clouds.
Do you guys know the conspiracy theory about like how the CIA has been using or like what is it? Area 51 has the development of any development we've had with like our military equipment. It's come through the CIA and them all working with aliens. Should I say alleged for this? I don't fucking know. Anyway, alleged, I guess. We're entertainment. I don't fucking know. I'm confused by them. The conspiracy theory about them usually working with aliens regarding military stuff, and that's how they've developed things. Sometimes I wonder if it's really just like, are we actually seeing like aliens, or is it actually really advanced military shit that they've already been able to do and we don't know? It just wants to hug.
The way the orbs
Maybe.
move is what really stands out. They don't seem to behave like flashes of lightning or random reflections, which is why many viewers immediately connected the footage to UFOs or some kind of unexplained aerial phenomenon. Of course, there's always the possibility that the lights belong to some kind of conventional aircraft or another more ordinary object in the sky. But because of this storm and the limited quality of the footage, it's nearly impossible to say for certain what's actually being captured here. Even so, the way the three orbs appear moving through the clouds still gives the clip a very mysterious feel. So what do you think these mysterious lights were? Could they really be connected to UFOs, or was this something else entirely? A woman named Ricky Hill posted a video to her TikTok account in June of 2025 and walks viewers through a very bizarre and creepy incident that allegedly happened inside her home back in 2019. The home security camera footage starts off relatively uneventful, but within seconds, things begin to feel much more unsettling.
You will see as the light dims and then brightens, and then it will dim again, and then it will brighten again, and if you look past, like, towards the kitchen area...
The ghosts are just having a party on their own.
Let's see, one more time, maybe? Right now, you'll see her. You can see her coming through. She comes, turns around.
What the fuck?
Past towards the kitchen area again. And then you'll see an orb dip out at the end. Also, if your brightness is not turned up, make sure to turn that up or else you can miss her.
What the fuck?
As you can see, the lights inside the house continuously dim and brighten over and over again.
Wait. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm gonna be standing for a second. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. You might hear this. Hey. Okay, we're back. Okay, that felt really real. Hold on.
Creating a pretty eerie atmosphere throughout the footage. But that isn't even the strangest part of the video. Right around here, what appears to be some kind of ghostly woman can briefly be seen walking through the house.
What the fuck?
Passing by the kitchen area before seemingly disappearing from view. The figure is faint, but visible enough to immediately stand out once you notice it moving through the frame. In the description of the post, Ricky claims
You
that
can never see their
woman's name
feet.
was Mary and says she used to live in the house next door. According to the story, Mary was allegedly involved in an affair with multiple men, including one who supposedly lived in the very house Ricky now lives in. Ricky also claims that Mary's husband later found out and allegedly ended up killing the man. Unfortunately, Ricky never shared where this information came from, or whether any of the story could actually be verified.
Hey!
Even so, if there's any truth to it at all, it definitely adds another layer of unease to the footage. Of course, there's also the possibility that the figure is simply a trick of lighting, camera exposure, or video compression.
Oh, that ain't no.
Especially with
No
the
way.
lights flickering throughout the clip.
You can't convince me that's
Still,
it.
the way the shape moves through the kitchen makes the footage difficult to completely ignore. So what do you think was captured inside Ricky's home?
Guys, you know what I want? I want a burger. Welcome to ALX's stream, where I remind you guys of food that I want.
Was this really the spirit of someone connected to the house, or just an eerie coincidence caught on camera? On December 25th, 2025, a TikTok account known as Urban Explorers posted a video showing them wandering through a forest when they suddenly came across a strange hole in the ground. Curious about what might be inside, they decided to climb down and explore the tunnel-like area.
Sensing white people activity. Ask Mary, sure. She'll make one while she's busy in the kitchen. Why would you go in there? Can you guys logically explain to me why anybody would want to just show up and, I don't know, get into a fucking cave like that casually. They gave the consent. What is that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Area beneath it, which, as you might expect, turned out to be a pretty bad idea.
Why? Why? Because you can hide your... Stop. A blind Dora the Explorer. For that, you right. Don't keep going in! Call the police! Oh my god.
According to the explorers, they immediately started feeling uneasy once they entered the tunnel, even mentioning that it felt like they were having a panic attack while walking through the area.
I wonder why!
Despite that feeling, they continued deeper
Also, there's probably barely any oxygen in there.
inside. Then, right around the 18-second mark, if you look carefully toward the end of the tunnel, you can make out what appears to be some kind of pale face staring directly back at them from the darkness. The figure is difficult to fully make out,
The
but
fuck?
it's visible enough to immediately stand out once you notice it. It's easy to see why some viewers found the clip genuinely creepy, especially because the face appears surprisingly clear
What the
once
fuck?
spotted. Of course, there's also the possibility
What
that the
the
entire
fuck?
thing was staged or edited as a hoax.
Hell no.
At the same time, if the face hadn't actually been added in afterward, it does raise the question of how the uploader supposedly never noticed something so obvious while filming and editing the video. So what do you think was hiding at the end of that tunnel? Was it simply a hoax or something far creepier?
Hey, if you didn't notice it, it could be because he might have ADHD. Not an excuse, but
Over on
like,
TikTok, a man
actually,
named Kyle Anthony posted a piece of home security camera footage filmed inside his house late at night, during what seemed like a completely peaceful evening. Despite the video starting off normal, it doesn't take very long for things to become a little unsettling.
Don't do anything to the cat. Leave the cat alone. Wait, what the fuck are those things? What the hell is everything floating in the... Are those feathers?
Right around here, one of the chairs in the kitchen area suddenly appears to move all on its own.
Or is that just
What
dust
also
bunnies?
makes the moment interesting is that Kyle's cat doesn't really seem to react to it at all. The movement itself is subtle, but noticeable enough to immediately stand out once you see it happen. A second clip filmed later that night shows even more strange activity taking place in the kitchen.
It's a poltergeist! No, no. Oh shit, the door's opening. It's an obake!
The fact that both incidents reportedly happened on the same night definitely makes the footage feel a bit more eerie, especially with objects seemingly moving without anyone nearby. Of course, there could still be a more ordinary explanation behind what's happening here, whether it's something off camera, vibrations in the house, or another detail not obvious from the footage alone. Even so, the timing and movement in both clips are strange enough to leave viewers questioning it. So what do you think was happening inside Kyle's kitchen that night? Could this really be some kind of paranormal activity, or is there another
I don't like it.
explanation behind it? On February
Guys, I don't know why this reminded me of it. There's a new show coming to HGTV, which is a competition show of a bunch of people having to survive and remodel a haunted place. I looked at Bridget and I was like, oh my god, this is like the best show for you and I. It has everything I love and everything you love. We should watch it. I'll show you guys the trailer later.
7th, 2026, a TikTok user known as Paranormal Empress posted a video to her account explaining that she was simply trying to take a picture to show her husband that the kitchen light had been left on, when much to her surprise, she captured this. It's hard to deny just how eerie the image looks. The figure definitely resembles a person, but at the same time, there's something about it that feels strangely off, almost like some kind of ghostly apparition standing in the room.
Wait, I missed it.
The shape of the face and body. Trying to take a picture to show her husband that the kitchen light had been left on, when much to her surprise, she captured this.
Is that the Cream Reaper? Oh no, that's like a human face. What the fuck is that?
It's hard to deny just how eerie the image looks. The figure definitely resembles a person, but at the same time, there's something about it that feels strangely off, almost like some kind of ghostly apparition standing in the room. The shape of the face and body are faint, yet still clear enough to immediately catch your attention once you notice them in the photo.
Most of us look like that.
The uploader goes on to say that in her opinion, the figure resembles
Is that a woman?
Lynn, who she claims is actually one of her relatives.
What?
In placing the two images side by side, there does appear to be at least some resemblance between the faces.
Huh?
Some viewers believe the image could simply be a hoax, with the ghostly figure digitally edited into the photo afterward. That said, others feel the image looks convincing enough to at least make them question it. So what do you think was captured in this photo? Could it really be some kind of ghostly figure, or is there another explanation behind the image? TikTok user WillowHunter74 says that on the night of March 12, 2026, they were suddenly awoken at around 3 o'clock in the morning after thinking they heard the downstairs tap running. Curious and a little unsettled, WillowHunter decided to check the home security camera footage to see if anything unusual had happened during the night. This is what was reportedly captured.
Hell no. Hell no. Nah.
The footage first shows the teddy bear suddenly falling from a chair,
Nah.
before a short while later, a nearby door opens on its own.
Nah.
Neither moment is especially dramatic on its own, but together they create a pretty eerie atmosphere, especially knowing the incidents supposedly happened in the middle of the night, while everyone
It's really just the ghost saying, hey, do your fucking laundry, bro. I'm sick of it.
was asleep.
Sick of you!
Unfortunately, there isn't a whole lot of extra
Truly
who
do believe is
seemingly
that.
encountered something strange while simply trying to relax at home one night.
No. Is it the snoring? What am I looking at, bro?
Even though the footage is fairly blurry and difficult to make out clearly, if you look closely right around here, you can see what appears to be some kind of ghostly head peering down.
Bro, come on. What if it's something else? Next one. I think the universe is like, nah, stop watching this shit. Show them the good stuff. Hold on. Let's see. Tell that third shifter to roll over. I'm trying to find. Let me show you guys this trailer. Okay, it is this. Found the name. Let me show you. Oh my god, there's literally a video game about this, but that's not what I'm trying to find the trailer of the show. Find it on TikTok.
Lindsay Clancy trial.
Ah! Found it. Okay. This show.
An eerie and historic Victorian mansion sits vacant on a quiet street in Fremont, Ohio. No voices ring through its empty rooms. No live ones, anyway. Beale Manor is one of the most haunted houses in America.
I would see a man standing upstairs, just standing there looking out the window. Found out there was nobody there, the house was empty.
Nobody told me this when I bought it.
I went down to the basement. I felt this cold finger just go all the way down from my neck down to my back.
Ghosts roam 3 floors of eerie spaces, tormenting all those who enter.
I want to save the.
Of course it's Ohio. Even death you can't escape. Not for real. Speaking of horror, did you get the chance to see that Peruvian horror game I shared? Yeah, I did. I don't think I'll play it. I don't think it's my vibe. But it looks cool.
This house, but honestly, I don't know how to. It's hard to get contractors to do work here.
Everybody knows that it's definitely haunted. You just always feel like you're not alone. You can just feel like somebody's watching it.
Unoccupied, falling apart, and on the verge of demolition.
Wait, was that
no one is brave enough to set foot inside. Until now. Hello?
You guys know how they talk about the White House being haunted? Do you guys think that for the renovations and the things that they're doing for the ballroom, is it probably activating the fuck out of the spirits that are there? I can't imagine it not being so.
Is anybody here? 6 daring designers have taken on the challenge that no one else will, to bring Beale Manor back from the dead and prevent this once grand historic home
I gotta
from
watch
being
this.
Destroyed and forgotten.
My goal is to make it look like an inside of a glamorous coffin.
Yeah, I
Each
see
week
that.
they'll face challenges that will test their creativity, design expertise, and their nerve.
What was that? The ghost, see? Bye.
Not only will you be renovating this haunted home, you will eat, sleep, and live here.
What have I really got myself into?
My God, it's like a dead body.
I know that we've awakened a little something.
Yes!
You can't convince me that it's not affecting the house in general if you're renovating shit.
Stunning.
They will battle each other for the ghost of a chance to walk away with the $50,000 cash prize.
I cannot be the reason that we do not win. Like, maybe I should die here. I can't take this. No!
It's almost like this house is saying, get out.
And to be crowned the winner of a very haunted renovation.
I just think it's actually pretty cool. I don't know. I'm excited. I kind of want to watch it, to be honest. I think it'd be tasteful. Tasteful! There are a couple series based on that. There is apparently a game based on renovating a house and it be haunted. I don't know. But I think that's pretty much the what is this? Bought an abandoned castle. Oh, I should probably mute this. Bought this abandoned castle for $450. Everyone for $150K. Everyone told me I was buying a money pit. No roof, no windows, no power. Oh shit, yeah. But I saw the potential. And I wasn't wrong. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. How did you get electric? The hell is this? Oh, these are renos from older places? I can't play the music. It's gonna fucking flag me if I keep doing that.
Part 2.
I can't just be playing music, TikTok. I can't just be playing music. Black Myth trailer dropped and it looks awesome. What is this?
On July 27, 2020, Mario Lara posted to his Facebook. The picture was of his brand new party store being built. Almost a week later, his dream was finally complete. His store held a wide variety of food, disposables, and piñatas. Within the first month, it was already a success. This picture may seem normal at first, but in this selection, there's a piñata that would soon come to haunt his everyday life. Although it
A fucking piñata?
didn't seem like it, as his following posts documented his journey rescuing a dog. But on October 15, he posted this to his Facebook. Friends, this is the suspicious piñata. I woke up to it being thrown on the floor. I was told to light candles and pray. Wish me luck. A father is also coming
The fucking piñata.
to bless the place. The post became big, a lot bigger than his other ones.
That's a lot of
Due to how
energy.
personal his page was, and there being no mention of this piñata anywhere else on his page, the suspicious piñata seemed to be a conversation he had with some friends and family before this post. It seemed like he was being serious about this. The video was short and didn't include much. We see a Moana piñata surrounded by a couple of candles. This piñata was one of the ones hung up in one of the pictures of the store. The same day, Mario updated everyone. So far, everything is normal. Nothing strange.
It's the Moana piñata, bro. Dude. I'm trying to think of like if I wanted to come back as in the afterlife, what would I be attached? What would it be? Out of all the things I have and I own. Maybe the pride flag because I'm pretty gay? I don't know. We'll think about that.
Just happened. We'll keep you posted. P.S. The suspicious piñata was left in the bathroom, which I locked with a key. The following day, on October 16th,
A
Mario went out to
piñata,
explain
water
strange things
runner.
happening in the store.
A piñata.
Les voy a
That's
platicar
what's haunted.
el seguimiento de las cosas raras que se han estado viendo aquí en la tienda. Bueno, hay una piñata que siempre se
I
está...
want to come back as a bird so I can fly away from all these damn bitches. It's so stupid.
Viendo. Nosotros teníamos las piñatas acá colgadas. Teníamos acá las piñatas colgadas y pues amanecieron así.
He said here that he thought Moana was possessed because a few nights prior, Moana and the piñatas
Why had to be Moana though? Why was it Moana? La piñata de Moana, that's fucked up.
hung up around her began falling down, as well as a part of the wall was yanked off, as he described it. What he thought to be strange was that Moana was always found lying down.
Esa piñata que tenemos ahí es la que sospechosa, la verdad es que no sabemos si de verdad esté diabólica o qué onda, pero esa piñata siempre amanece tirada. Siempre amanece tirada. Es lo que es raro. Ya la hemos tenido en observación y la hemos tenido al fondo, en la bodega. Esa guardada, pues no, ya no está en venta. O si la quieren comprar, pues se las doy bien barata. Esa ya se las doy bien barata. Quien me dé 30 pesos por esa piñata, pues véngase por ella.
Mario
Is it really?
demonstrated how he would leave the piñata upright, leaned against the wall. He left it alone for a minute. but went back to check on it. However, it seemed fine. But just a moment later.
No, no, de hecho las patas no están bien hechas. Las patas están muy aguadas. Mira, vamos a ver hijo de su puta madre.
Is it really that it's attached to the piñata, or is it attached to the place?
He noticeably got goosebumps from this. But even though this is all spooky to speculate, he provided a possible reason for it how it was being found lying down. He explained that the legs were not made well, and therefore not stable. A fairly reasonable theory. It wouldn't explain the piñata falling down every night, but for some reason it had to come from this. Moving on to October 18, just 2 days after the live stream. He made a post due to a discovery. Strange things keep happening. These days, nothing has moved. But everything is full of long black hair. Does anyone know if this has any connection with the strange events? Hair. Weird. The fibers don't seem to be coming from Moana because it's made of paper. Perhaps it was from a customer. At this point in his investigation, Mario put cameras all over the store to capture anything strange. Not only are they good and
fucking hair
include sound, but they send him alerts on his phone if motion is detected. Good for hunting anything paranormal. On the same day, he posted, "The security cameras just sent me motion alerts. Who is willing to face what's happening in my store once and for all? Not that I'm scared. Haha. But with around 10 people, I'm down."
The monotone
I would have
voice is
preferred
killing me.
not to have seen the video. It's going to be a long night for me. If you are very susceptible, you better not watch it. I have no doubts anymore.
The fuck is that noise? Why am I hearing a tiger? Bitch, what the fuck is that? I'm not looking at that. Did you guys see it? Because I didn't see it. I saw something pop up and I closed my eyes. What the fuck was that? I'm not looking at it. I'm not looking at it. I'm not looking at it. I'm not looking at it.
The security cameras captured a truly horrifying face. Notice the long black hairs, the same ones from a couple of posts prior. We wouldn't hear anything from Mario until a couple of days later. I got motion alerts again.
What was that? What was that? And why is it just, why? Maybe she just wants to live. You saw a water runner? What did it look like? Describe it to me in the chat, because I don't want to look at it. I don't want to go back. All I saw was black hair, and I was like, bro, what if it's just the spirit of somebody that wants to be a niña again? Just likes the toy. That was some Insidious level scary. It looked like the red-faced monster from Insidious. Oh, it does? Need you to watch the Ghost of Morgan City show. Didn't you tell me that last time? Sorry, I was happily distracted by my cat during that. The only one that saw it was Masked Runner. I look like a spirit who wants to be a niñita again. Okay, so you're just telling me what I... Okay, so you're just typing what I'm saying. Got it.
I'm going to investigate my place.
Isn't that an older show,
I'll go
Flutie?
live to see what happens. He went live shortly after. I must admit...
Why would you go live? Can you, it's funny because I want to do the ghost hunting thing too. But then I also feel like there are times where you have to remember, like, some things you don't have to fuck with and you could just mind your goddamn business. So how about we just mind our goddamn business?
Never go in my store ever again if I saw that security footage. But he continued on.
Puta, quiero tostitos, bro. Me dio hambre. I'm hungry. I want a burger. I want some chips and salsa. Fuck it, I'll go get Taco Bell. Maybe some Pizza Hut. No, not Pizza Hut. Not Pizza Hut. Little Caesars. Maybe some, yeah, I want Little Caesars for the crazy bread. That's what I want. Maybe some Texas Roadhouse for the buttery rolls.
Yeah. This stream was a bit odd compared to the others, as it kept cutting in and out of connection.
Ya no está quitamos la veladora por cuestiones de seguridad. Y pues todo normal.
The spirit's probably mad you keep moving the goddamn piñata. I missed that. I didn't see what was that. What was that? I didn't see it. I didn't see it. What the fuck was up there? What the fuck was up there? What the fuck was up there? What the fuck was... Is this real or is this a fucking TV show? I'm out here cleansing with the Palo Santo. Get me out.
Right after.
I missed it again. I missed it too. So...
Updates right
Not
there.
the scariest bitch in the chat was the only one that saw
However,
it.
supposedly a day prior, a shaman came to the store to offer him help. The shaman did a cleansing ritual in the store and took the piñata with them to perform
Toma
an
Palo
exorcism.
Santo.
I'll update you on what's been happening with my business. Daily, I get about 300 friendship requests, about 100 messages. People even come to see the store. They already took the piñata to investigate it, and people even call me to my personal cell phone to ask me what's going on.
Okay, but is it really gonna be the piñata, or
piñata
is it something that is in the space itself? If y'all not watching, why am I? I'm trying to. I was lighting up the Palo Santo, bro. Fine, let's go back. You want to see it so bad? We're gonna see it so bad.
The live ended as it kept cutting in and out of connection.
Ya no está la... quitamos
Está
la
arriba,
grabadora porque
¿verdad?
es de seguridad.
Ay.
Y pues todo normal. Nadie me quiso acompañar.
¡Hijo de la chingada madre! Why was it staring at you?
The cleansing ritual in the store. The piñata is no longer here.
Okay,
I
back
took
to
it to
where
an
I
expert
was.
to analyze it. They came to cleanse the place.
Gotta go put some
Almost
gospel on.
daily, the motion sensors trigger, but I no longer check them. I am no longer investigating or looking to complicate things further. I only come to work, and that's it. Haha. It's a very respectable choice. After all, ignorance
But
bliss.
is it really the piñata or is it the
Curiosity
fucking
got the best of
space?
him. On November
Is it the
4th,
piñata
he
or
said
the
this.
fucking space?
I said I wouldn't watch a safety alert anymore, but I got curious, and this popped up. It was yesterday.
Ay, ahí vamos de nuevo. Ay, caramba. Ay, caramba. I don't think it's the piñata. It's the fucking store. Maybe it's scared of my air. I'm gonna air this bitch out. Whee. Yeah, it's the fucking store. There's no way. It has to be the store. It's not the piñata. Maybe it had, like, maybe you just liked the Moana piñata a little bit more, and now it's probably gonna be mad that you took it away from them.
We see that the Moana piñata wasn't necessarily the problem, at least not anymore. But by this time, business kept going, and while the family was nervous, they pushed on, all while waiting at any moment for something to appear or move on its own. Facebook deleted the video where objects fall in the store. I'm showing a video from today in the afternoon, where something else really weird happened. All these things are quite frequent during the night, and some in the day. I'm fed up.
It's just like if you had a pew pew and the place is haunted, and your first thought was just to everything in the air, even though you can't see what the hell is happening.
August 30th, Moana was exhibited in the store for sale. All of them, except for that piñata, were sold. Days ago, I took a supposed shaman to investigate, and from there, things happen almost every day. This person deleted me from Facebook and does not respond to my calls, and I would like the piñata back because, before he took it, the events were not so aggressive. His name is Alberto Figueroa. Mario was utterly tired of these alerts. Constant phone notifications telling him there was movement in the store. However, despite telling everyone he was done checking the videos, he
I thought it was obvious that whatever spirit's in there was definitely attached at the fucking whatever it was. And then remove it's like remodeling a home that's haunted. Like, don't expect it to be easy for you if you can't explain it why some of those things are gone. You know how people back in the day when they used to build things, they used to stuff things inside the walls for good luck or shit, and you're not supposed to remove them because it's supposed to be like bad juju? It's the same kind of energy. Just keep it there.
back and kept seeing the footage. On November 12th, he posted, "Okay, if you check the video, it's from 10 minutes ago. The truth is that it's not that much. Whatever it is, it's kept today relatively calm."
Poltergeist. Spirit herbs.
This seemed like a much different sight to Mario. After all the alerts and witnessing some truly harrowing stuff, he seemed much more relieved to watch the video, seeing that not much happened. His status even said, "Feeling chill." The constant motion alerts aside, he kept business as usual, restocking the shelves, and even letting tourists take pictures inside the store, due to how popular the shop had become. He said that he was in no interest to make any money from this phenomenon, assuring us that he was not faking this for fame. He didn't charge the visitors who came to take pictures, which, at that point, had grown to be many. All while, he had become extremely exhausted. He didn't feel like checking cameras because it would only make his mental health worse.
El
With that being
fucking
said,
pobre.
Mario came up with a plan to help calm things down. Since the stream
Ads are
events
about
kept
to
getting more
start
frequent
over on
and
the Purple
aggressive
Live for
ever
3
since the
minutes
shaman took the mountain together, he
long.
ordered
Shout out to you
copies so
guys
that
for
perhaps
watching
things
those
would be the way they were
ads.
before.
Thank you for supporting the stream.
But would this work? I just checked the security camera.
We are
and
live
really
for 3
tried to take
platforms.
everything
Reminded
into
of that. Top
Tennessee
the hour ads
videos
over on the
and
Purple
it
Live. It's
totally
the best
overwhelms
way
me.
of supporting the stream. It
I
clears
left in
out
the
most of
pinata
the
that I
hour.
bathed in holy water
And it's the
and
best
viewed
way
the
to
security camera.
support. Thank you guys.
And this happens.
Oh. 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 Oh my god. What are we doing? What's happening? Okay. Is it moving into the next attachment?
I honestly don't think it's the wind. I don't know what to think. What should I do? Damn it, I just want it to be over. I want a normal store. To answer the previous question, no, I don't think it worked. His plan definitely seemed solid. If it was true that the events were getting more and more aggressive when Moana left, it seemed logical to think that if he would bring something similar, then they would accept it. It must have known that it wasn't the window.
Pobre.
As a
It
result
was
of what he
because
saw,
of Moana.
Mario went live before going into the store to see what the entity had done to the new pinata. He spent much of this time trying to find the pinata, checking under furniture and tight spaces where it wasn't immediately obvious.
I'm not looking at that. No.
Ay, no está, me hace que va a estar ahí atrás.
Until he noticed a piece of the pinata.
Y ojo ahí, mira.
Ay.
Esto parece.
Ay.
Se movió la puerta, dicen que se movió
I
la puerta.
can't. I have all 4 monitors up and I can only see the stream right now.
¿Se sacó la pila? Ahí está. Bien, ahí está, mira. Ahí está. Esos son pelos.
It's a
Ahí
massacre.
está la mano, esa es la mano de Moana. Hoy. No, no corran, no corran, no corran, no corran. No corran, no corran, sí, ya sé, ya sé.
Ah.
No pasa nada.
I can do this.
Échalo.
Big for the 15. Ay, Dios mío.
Que déjate, no, sí la rompió toda. La piñata, hoy. ¿Qué onda?
What the fuck?
Sí, pero escucha cómo la sigo aquí.
Why is there kids laughing?
Hoy, no hagas, no.
Oh hell nah. What's scratching?
¿Sabes qué? Te agacho esto. No, sí.
Oh hell nah. What's scratching? I'm watching from the smaller screen, so I feel a little bit better about it.
It was completely messed up. Its limbs were torn off, its head decapitated.
Damn!
It didn't make it better that it was found in a rather unappealing part of the back room.
Es que de repente era el
November
cumpleaños de
19th, Mario
alguien.
was doing repairs at a store when he posted a somewhat humorous message. Small incidents of a casual day at my shop.
What if it was someone's birthday? They were just throwing a party. They were like, I want that one. The fuck?
Several days later, he uploaded a video the cameras caught in the middle of the night.
No! Ay, Dios mío. Ah, it's huge on the poltergeist shit.
About a week later, Mario had finally received word back from the shaman that took
What
the
if
pinata
all
they
they
never
wanted
gave
was
back
the
when he requested
candy?
it. The original Moana pinata
I was
that
gonna
would
make a
hopefully make
short
things further
joke, but
better.
I'd figure it'd be
In a
the
message,
taller person.
the shaman
Oh
told
my
Mario
god,
it
shut
was
up,
a
Big
call. He also excused himself for not being able to give him the pinata directly.
You're
in person
right, probably wanted
because he feared
candy.
for his life due to receiving countless threats from Mario's followers and people keeping up with the story. Although he gave him a location near his house and told Mario to check inside of a car. There, he would find the pinata. Later that evening, Mario made a post. A little while ago, the shaman sent me coordinates of where he left the pinata. Who of my friends is near Tonala to accompany me? That night, Mario went live to document his journey trying to find the pinata.
Me dirijo a un punto donde me dijeron que podía encontrar la
Oh
piñata.
my god, just leave the store, bro. Just sell the place. I'm sure somebody with a desire will get it. I can't. Just sell the place. Go live your happy life somewhere else.
Me dijo que la iba a encontrar dentro de un carro. Entonces estamos dándole para allá, pues. Me pasó unas coordenadas por el WhatsApp, unas coordenadas de GPS. Está muy feo el camino, aquí ya se está poniendo más feo.
You don't think this is sus that somebody sent you the coordinates through GPS and you have to go find an abandoned car to go get the piñata? I feel like, hello. Maybe I'm tripping. This is internet safety. Come on. Come on! You could do a little bit better, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. But it's just
muy solo.
Safety!
Pero de aquel lado se ve un poco de luces, entonces yo espero que, pues, que no esté así todo el camino. Bueno, vamos a ver ahorita.
For several minutes, the stream just showed Mario driving, with an eerie silence to everything, giving it a chilling atmosphere. When Mario arrived at the marker and the exact coordinates of the supposed car, he got out to continue on foot.
Watch it in the monitors. I don't like this. I'm dancing. How do I relax? I'm dancing.
¿Qué pasa? Está bien solo aquí. Yo ya se escucha agua ahí abajo.
Why are you doing this in the middle of the night?
Pero me dijeron que había un carro abandonado. Pero pues aquí yo no veo ni modo de que haya un carro abandonado.
Creo.
Ay, güey, tengo
¿Por
una
qué?
Esta madre. No me pierdo porque sé que es para allá. Ay, Dios. Ay, güey. Ay, no manches, como que siento que yo oigo ruidos, pero no sé si es mi imaginación. No, me volví bien machiné. Sentí como que alguien me estaba siguiendo.
Mario was very nervous here, checking behind him because he thought someone was following him. When Mario found the car, it was beyond broken, filled with garbage, and strangely, it was located quite a distance away from any road. It really added to an already unsettling situation.
Ay, está bien combinado. No manches, escucha.
Did y'all hear the laugh? I heard a laugh.
Ay, está bien empinado.
Firstly, how did I get there? Somebody left it there.
Ahí está.
Because they thought that it was like bad, so they just left it somewhere so nobody ever has to touch it. Who bought it from him?
Luckily, he found the pinata there, and it was time for him to leave as soon as
But
possible.
the thing is that the attachment isn't towards the object itself or the Moana. Whoever is haunting the place likes the Moana pinata. That's what it is.
Lejos de periférico, más o menos acá a la altura de
Viewers noticed what appeared to be a figure lurking behind him as he pointed the camera to himself.
Might
It's
be
hard to look at,
him.
but I can definitely see
He
something
might
there,
have the
but
attachment.
something more harrowing is yet to come.
Hay baches, demasiados baches en este lugar. Está casi imposible de pasar.
At that moment, fear rushed over him, and he tried to accelerate as fast as he could.
¿Qué mierda es eso? How do you even explain that? How do you even explain that?
But in doing so, he lost control and crashed his car into some rocks, damaging the front.
Back up the car and leave! Bro. Back up the car and leave.
After checking the car, Mario decided to run on foot over to a house he spotted a little over half a mile away. That's when the transmission cut, according to Mario, because his battery died. But apparently, the house owner helped him call his insurance, and around an hour later, a tow truck came to take his car away. But with that done, the original piñata was finally back in his hands. Now the question was, would it finally calm things down at the store? December 11, almost 2 weeks since getting Moana back.
Ay, me dio hambre. Tienen chocolates en el costado. Bro, I want chocolate.
Banda, les voy a mandar este video porque estoy dándome cuenta.
It's not as weird as this mess. Ah!
Hijo de la chingada. ¿Ya vieron? ¿Vieron cómo se avienta la puerta? Esas son las cosas que pasan aquí a veces. Ahí está la Moana. Ahí está la Moana. Es lo que les digo, se avientan las cosas. Ah, pero no se tiraban ni nada. Hijo de su madre, trae la piel chinita,
Rena says no. Move, change your name, dye your hair. Show me the bonnet.
Besides that, nothing significant happened for some time, but the creepy vibes were still there. Mario found a couple of stray cats, and on recommendations from his friends, he adopted them to help further calm whatever was haunting him. I honestly don't know why they would think that, but at the very least, they would calm him down.
Ha! fun fact, actually. Dogs are supposed to be your protectors in the physical realm, where technically cats are supposed to be the protectors within the spiritual, more like metaphysical realm. It is said the cats can actually... Oh, I'm getting woo with you guys. It is said the cats can actually see and transport through like realms in essence, or like different dimensions. So that's why people say that cats are actually really good to have in these kind of situations, because they understand certain things, and they are, at the end of the day, another form of protection. While dogs are also in essence aware of what's happening, but more protective in the physical sense. So that's why some people say have a cat around. I am allergic to them. And so, you know, I'm fucked, but whatever.
Which they actually did. He named them Mr. Lingout and Milaneso. On the 21st of January, 2021, while in the company of Mr. Lingout, Mario was doing some work in his computer in the back of the store during after hours when he heard a loud noise behind him. At that point, he pulled out his phone to record the following.
Espérate. Espérame.
¿Y tú? ¿Por qué andas haciendo fucking videos en la media de la noche sin luz? Why is he just here just hanging out without, in the fucking darkness? This is him. Bro, what does he do? I always heard because a cat has 9 lives, there's always need. Here, they're separate or together. Oh. Oh, that makes so much sense.
Espérame.
Yo, you guys want to hear a story about a cat? I'll talk. Maybe I shouldn't know. Probably sound crazy. I can still see it, just don't like... Oh, this poor kitty! Why are you still there? Leave! The cat doesn't like what's happening. Leave. That's a sign. Was that levitating?
While the cat was understandably upset the whole time, he captured a strange sight. The Moana Pinata upside down. A clear sign that the haunting was...
I thought it was levitating.
We'd see a similar thing from the cat on the 25th. Have I mentioned? My cat fights and growls at invisible things in the store.
I almost feel bad for them.
The video shows Mr. Lingout very angry. Around this time, he mentioned that he developed a deep insomnia that was impossible to cure. Due to not sleeping for 4 days, his nose started bleeding.
Yo, is he cursed?
And in a sequence of videos, he focused our attention on TV. It started on the 31st of January, when he posted security camera footage of his office. In a follow-up, he posts how ever since these strange things have been happening to him, he's had a mental note to record everything that happens. If he suspected something to be strange or noticed a pattern, he would record it. 10 minutes prior to the post, he moved the camera closer to the TV that was acting up before. When looking closer, it almost seemed like there was something that briefly panned across the screen. Here it is again, with the shadows adjusted. The third and final video regarding the TV is a much closer look. The video starts off with Mario telling us that prior to the static on the TV, he was working. He pulled out his phone to record and got a closer look to see what was going on with it. At first, all that could be heard was static noise.
A ver. En el otro video me dijeron que se veían caras.
Voy a llorar. Voy a llorar. Yeah, I'm talking about myself.
Mira eso. ¿Qué traes?
Milaneso.
Pues yo no veo nada. Sí, gatos andan bien locos. ¿Estás ahí? Miran eso. Pasó. ¿Estás ahí? ¿Me quieres decir algo? ¿Estás ahí? Pues, madre. ¿Qué quieres?
¿Fuck?
¿Qué? ¿Qué quieres? ¿De qué? Ya vete a la vez. ¿Qué quieres, pues? ¿Qué?
This is weird. This is weird.
After
This is
unplugging the
weird.
TV, he walked away.
Mess, you're right.
But
Spooky night has been a minute. It was,
Pues se prendió, güey. ¿Qué estás diciendo?
bitch, what is happening? I guess it's common for people to use, for them to use like technology as a form of communication if that's the best alternative.
the thing that is haunting him seemed to be communicating more and getting even more aggressive with his appearances, even despite having the original Moana. On February 5th, Mario recorded himself driving, telling us that he was getting interference while listening to the radio.
We all
The song
gonna
he was
go
listening
watch
to
this
was
movie.
Streets by Doja Cat.
Exactly,
For
Mess.
obvious reasons, I can't show you.
Exactly.
But just
I am
as
gonna
he was
go
dying,
watch
what
a
happened
Disney
again.
movie of this
They
and cuddle
suffered.
with Frida. Dude, it's him. It's him. Yo, you think someone cursed him? Because, like, there's no way. It's him. I thought it was the place. It ends up feeling like it's him.
People think it said, "I'm going to kill you." But if you take the audio, lower the semitones, and reverse it, it says this.
Oh, I once...
In Spanish, it says, "Leave my house." Jumping to March 26th, Mario
Maybe
tells
it
us of his
is-
previous experiment with holy water. If you remember, when the original Moana was taken by the shaman, he got a new one, and that one was dragged out into the back room in the middle of the night. And well, that was the end of that piñata. So Mario wanted to do an experiment. If he sprayed the original Moana with holy water, what would happen? Well, he sprayed it and left the camera facing it the whole night.
Why are you doing experiments? Just fucking sell the house. The thing told you to leave. Oh my god.
The piñata was completely burned, a much different outcome than before. Now, here's where, admittedly, the story does get a little weird. On the 30th of April, Mario posted, they got into the store, but they didn't know that it was a wrong store. I'm more worried about the invasion of flies at the end of the video.
What's scary to me is that... Why can't I see where you're putting? Scary to me is that usually anything spooky and haunted can be traced to colonialism and the wrath of the ancestors and those who suffer injustice. But in Latin America, that isn't necessarily true and has to be something else. I think it's a mixture of a couple things, to be honest. It could still be colonialism. But I think it's also other things. But I think Latin America and Asia as well have the just different things. Africa too, to be honest.
We follow two people as they break into the store after hours to steal money.
Oh, they got their ass whooped, didn't they? You went and stole from the haunted place? All things are falling. Why would you do that? Your ass gonna get cursed. Ooh, you're gonna get cursed.
One of them walks away to check
Ooh,
other
it's
parts
gonna
of the store.
get cursed. Ooh, they're gonna get out. Ooh, and they're going to the back. Ooh. Y'all, their ass is gonna get, they're gonna run. They're gonna, oh, they're going to the back. 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 Oh, God, you know what? This is on them. You fucked around and found out. What is that? Is that him? What is that? What is that? Is that real? Is this real? Is this real? I don't longer know if it's real. Is this real? Because here is the rare spooking is happening to indigenous and people of color.
Yeah,
oh
I know.
yeah,
A
I
big
see what you
drastic
mean.
change in appearance than what we're used to seeing. This woman was never mentioned before, nor does his reaction elicit any panic or worry, as if this wasn't a big deal. Updates from now on became scarce. On September 11, he posted this. A woman named Paulina was working.
This isn't a hoax!
He asked for help locating Mr. Lingout, who got lost 15 days prior. Sadly, I never found an update. And to end it all, he uploaded this video in January of 2022. He claimed it was from last year, but he couldn't upload it because the camera he recorded it on broke and was only able to extract the files recently as of the post.
No, no. I'm watching, I'm having a hard time staying focused. Maybe if I move my hand a little bit, it'll make me feel a little bit better. Bitch, what the fuck is that? I saw that. What is that? What is that?
Mario's store ends there. He closed his shop down for reasons I can't find. But he said in October 2022, "My heart is broken. I will miss them so much. Goodbye forever to Mario's store." And then a follow-up. For those who care to know, and for those who don't, I tried until the last breath to keep the business, but I could not and already lost the battle. In the next few days, I will publish the last moments that happened in the store and the last videos. And well, with no store, no more paranormal events. And that brings us to the end. Thank you for watching.
Damn, it was the
See ya.
location.
I want to give a massive thank you to Guillotine for being a tier 3 member of my Patreon. You're awesome. As well.
Yo, this was a great breakdown. That was... Let's see if I can... Theodas. I'm gonna subscribe to them. Wow, that was cool. That was awesome. That was such a... Let me see what Zuri sent over. Let me see. This could be like a hangout, because I don't think I can watch it on the Purple app. Or maybe I could watch it on the Purple app, but I can't watch it and I can't leave it up. Ghost of Morgan City. Isn't it free technically? Tubi's free. The fight response was free. My Do you think we can do like a community night, or like maybe like a, you know how I used to do those only purple app aka Twitch hangouts? Maybe we could do like we watch this together on just the Purple app. Maybe. We'll see. You think like a ghost would just spawn in front of you, and like instead of screaming and running, your first response is like getting into a fight stance and just being like, is that something you think you would do? Your immediate response would be like, let me get you with the 1-2. Give me some holy water, a sawed-off shotgun, and a clay. Well, usually, that's usually your response. Yeah, okay, that's valid. And then you do the 1-2 and you realize your hooks are just going right through the person's face. Right. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. You said Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Alright, what a fun time I've had with you guys. I might have shit my pants a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. Here's a little bit of Frida before I head out. If you guys are not in the Purple app, aka Twitch, you're not going to be able to see Frida. But Frida is now knocked out. Oh, you know what? Maybe I can show you guys. Frida, you want to come hang out with me real quick? Hi, honey. Ah, my Frida. Oh, baby. Oh, I'm gonna snuggle you up and stop being afraid of the world. Help me say goodnight and goodbye to everybody. What's the deal today? You can check the VOD out. Today's stream temporarily on the Purple App, aka Twitch, more prominently over on the Red App, aka YouTube. I'll be live tomorrow on all 3 platforms, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok, for some Warframe content. As always, daily tarot for you guys. Maybe some more entertaining tarot. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll be live tomorrow around 1 p.m. with some Warframe. Get ready to hang out if you're part of the Discord. If you're not, you can always hang out. I appreciate you all. Frida loves you guys. We love you guys. We love you guys. We love you guys. Have a beautiful night. We'll see you next time. And bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Mwah. Good night.